The secrets I'm going to be sharing with you, my friends, is secrets that have been utilized with many people that have become wealthy. Yes, you might have come through here and you are wanting to get rich, but these secrets could even get you to be a little bit wealthier. And potentially you are thinking of yourself to say, where I am today, I don't see this happening. Let me give you newsflash, my friend. You are blocking yourself away from winning. You are blocking yourself away from becoming rich, becoming wealthy. Why do I say that? It is because back in the days, I was in the same position where you are today. So, in this video today, I'm going to dive in. Some of you are here and you are new to this channel, but if you've been here for a while, you know what I do. I'm a business coach, but over and above that, I do real estate investments. I've been investing for a bit. I write books, and I'm obviously the co-founder here. But that's not important. What is important is helping you to move from where you are right now to the next mile. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of things that are going to be able to help you to move from where you are to becoming rich, and hopefully you can become wealthy. My name is TJ. It is great hanging out with you, and let's just jump into it. The first one I'm going to give you a number of scenarios, and within all these scenarios, you just need to pick a few and start running with it. It's at the beginning of the year, and I want the best for you. And the first that we are going to be talking about here, my friends, is the word intentionality. Some of you might not know what this word means. Well, my friends, it is about you thinking of something, and then you can then say to yourself, I am going to do X. I remember when I was employed back in the days, now I own my own business, and my business pays me. It looks after the welfare of my kids, and we've got a couple of employees that are in that business. When I was employed, I remember my Monday to Friday was dedicated on me going to work. All I used to do was to wake up, bath, eat, go to work, come back, watch TV. What do I need to do again the next day? The same thing. The word intentionality didn't exist in my vocabulary. However, when I found out that I can be intentional about my growth, what do I mean by my growth? I can be intentional about what is it that I want to learn for it to get me into the next step. I started leaning in a little bit more onto this word here that's called intentionality. And when I started leaning into that, I then said to myself, hold on. I am just an employee today. What is it that I want to do? I want to build a business. What kind of a business? But I don't have so many skills and I don't have the money. But then I started living my life intentionally with marrying what I was wanting to do with what my actions were. I had a goal and I put the goal to say, I want to have a company. I want to have a business, like what you see today. But then thereafter, I then said, what are the steps, baby steps that I need to be taking intentional? So who do I need to learn from? Intentionally. So who do I need to hang out with? Intentionally. So I started doing a whole lot of things very intentional for the purposes of where I want to go. Now I'm going to leave you with this question, my friend. What is it that you're doing intentionally for your growth? We just want to pause here. What is it that you're doing intentionally for your growth? Are you saving some money so that you can go and attend a course? Are you saving some money so that you can grow the business? Are you intentionally understanding where your limitations are or where you're not? Because if you understand what your limitations are, thereafter you can start to move into the direction of correcting it. All of us will all have limitations, my friends. And my friends, if you're not living your life intentionally, that is holding you from your success. Remember, I did say, I want you to get rich and I want you to be wealthier. So if you're living your life intentionally, you can be smashing your success and you could be the next big thing in your family. I want us to speak to another word that is called awareness. Oof, this is a very painful word. Awareness just basically means that you actually know what's within your sphere. Yeah, you actually know what is within your sphere. So, what I'm talking about here is when I'm talking about awareness, awareness is such a powerful thing. A lot of us, we live in the ignorant world. I'm going to give you an example. And this example here might be very painful to some of us. I know of a couple, and within this couple, they were married, and the husband went to see Jesus. The wife was very ignorant of what was happening in the business. Or should I say that the husband never shared what was happening in the business? When the husband died, guess what happened to the business? The business went under. She was left with kids, and you guess what happened next? Now, my friends, when I'm talking about this awareness, I'm talking about for some people when they are just driving through a street and there's a big sign that says baboons here, they'll never see it. So it means that you're not aware of what's happening around you. I want to bring in this awareness back to ourselves. The lady that I spoke about, she could have been aware of what's happening in the business. She might have been not skilled to run the business, but if she was aware of what was happening in the business, she had a little bit of chance to run the business. She had a little bit of chance to understanding who do I need to hire to help me to manage the business. But because she was not aware, that business went down the drain. The husband was busy building, and later on, for what was supposed to be a great thing within their family, all of that went to pass. The question I want to ask of you on this awareness thing, are you aware of your limitations? Yeah. Are you aware of your limitations? TJ, do I have any limitations? I am being successful right now. My business is doing great. Ooh, really? All the people that have become wealthier, they have some limitations. There is no great leader in the world that does not have any form of limitations. I am fond of some tools that are available to assess us. Yep. And I'm saying assess us because I'm putting myself into the same boat. When I was employed back in the day, right, my limitations was that I do not know how to do business. And now that I am doing business, my limitations is that maybe I am not a good leader, or maybe I'm not doing my numbers correctly, or maybe I'm not managing certain things comfortably. It's a limitation. Once you understand your limitation, or should I say, once you are aware of your limitations, only then are you able to say, how best can I resolve this? So, what are you aware of? There's a lot of assessments that are out there. There's one that is called the DISC that I'm personally fond of. And we actually do the DISC assessment. And basically, the DISC assessment that I'm talking about is that it's an assessment that anybody can do, especially if you're running a business. I'm going to encourage you to do an assessment. It's an internal assessment behavior of yourself to understand your limitations, to understand your strengths. And obviously, you potentially are making money today. And then we can see how best we can leapfrog you with your strength that you have, but also how best can you resolve your limitation. There's plenty of them, tools that are there. I'm just talking about the one that I'm fond of and the one that I like to use here at the TJ Tribe. And for many of you who are here in the TJ Tribe, you are going to be utilizing this assessment for you to be aware of where you are today so that you can know where you're wanting to go tomorrow. And within that, you can draw a map in between because you know what your limitations are. So, my friends, embrace limitations. There's nothing wrong with limitations. It's just a sign that you need to grow. Every other quarter here at the TJ Tribe, I'm always meeting a group of the tribe members on a quarterly basis. We have what we call the master classes, and anyone is welcome to attend. And within the master classes, we dive in deeper to educate ourselves. I'm not the only teacher who is teaching there. We've got many teachers that come and teach us. And the idea is that we are learning. And as we are learning, we are personally growing. And if we are personally growing, that means that our businesses are growing. So I am telling you these secrets because I know that these secrets have made a success of myself and have made a success of other people. At the end of this video, you're going to be seeing some successes of many people that have actually done an amazing job in improving themselves and obviously improving their businesses. And my friends, I want the same for you. And I do mean it when I say I want the same for you. Let us help you. But we're still talking about how best can you grow your wealth? How best can you be successful? And here, my friends, is something that is going to get you out of poverty. If you start being intentional about your actions, you're going to get out of poverty because you're being intentional. If you are aware of your limitations, you are going to get out of poverty. And what is the next one? The next one is reflection. Woo, woo. Yeah. A lot of us, all we do is work, work, and work, and work, and work, and work, and work, and work. When do you reflect? So, my friends, I just want to tell you this. If you have never reflected before, okay, hold on. Maybe you're saying, TJ, what is reflection? Because I said to someone the other day, brother, how about you take a holiday? And someone said to me, what is a holiday? Should I go home? And we had to define what a holiday is. And this is someone who's got money, but they have never experienced that, so they don't know it. So let me explain what reflection is all about. Reflection, my friend, is where we take time to pause. We're doing our business, and our business is growing. Pick it. There we are. We're doing whatever we're doing. And maybe you're an employee. You're doing whatever that you're doing. How about you stop a little bit and you pause for a day and then you reflect on the previous year? And by reflection, I actually mean that how best can you say to yourself, what is working? What is working? How am I putting food on the table? Is this working? Oh, great. Of what is working, how many of those things are working? Out of 10 things that I'm doing every day, what is working? And then maybe 5 of them, it's working. It's giving you the best results in your business, in yourself, in your being employed. Then after, we can then say, okay, great. What about the other 5? Maybe there's 2 others. These ones are on the border. So which basically means now we are left with 3. The 3, I need to stop doing that. Did you see what I did there? So now, what you are doing, the time that you are spending on doing the 3, you can now dedicate that time to come and do it on the 5 things. Does it make sense? That way your results is going to now explode because at the time that you reflected and you saw where you're making more money, you saw where you're yielding more results, so do more of that. So reflection is important. You might be asking, TJ, how often should I be doing reflections on? Well, at the TJ Tribe, I encourage people to do reflections on a weekly basis, right? On a Friday afternoon or whatever that it is, whatever your day sets in. But let's just say call it Friday afternoon. On a Friday afternoon, you reflect, you sit down in your office or wherever it is for an hour and you look backwards. How did I do this week? What worked? What didn't work? Why didn't it work? Right? Oh, that worked. It gave me more yields. I need to do more of it. It is that simple, my friends. And obviously, you can continuously working on your reflections, not only on a weekly basis, but you can also look at it at maybe a quarterly basis. So that's how we look at business. At a quarterly basis, maybe at a half a year basis. And you can reflect on what has worked, what didn't work. And thereafter, you can take the correct measures going forward. And I want to go into the next topic. And this topic here, my friend, is consistency. Ooh. Maybe some of you enjoy cakes like I do, right? And my friends that makes cakes, they tell me that you need to have the right consistency of the dough for you to have the right cake. So I'm like, oh, so if it's not the right consistency, it's not going to work? It's not. When you are showing up for sales, when you are showing up for whatever your craft is, you have to be consistent. I meet a lot of people that come into the tribe and they come in and they say, TJ, I want to start my business. I'm like, yes, we have a position for you. Come. We will open you. This is the position that you can sit in. This is what you can learn. I will be consistent in giving you that information. And people that have been consistently learning, and people that have been consistently now going out to do their sell, people that have been consistently now going out there to find a real estate, people that have been out there consistently finding investment, people that have been consistently out there growing themselves consistently. Those are the people that are growing. I see it all the time. My friends, if you are doing anything, let's just take in another scenario. You want to lose 10 kgs. You've got a wedding that's coming up and you want to look good for the wedding and you want to lose them kaba or whatever love handles or whatever it is that you want to lose. I don't know, right? I've been blessed with a fine body. Yeah, sometimes I need to lose weight. Yeah, and I just eat correct. That's all. Exercise a little bit. Yeah, God has blessed me in that way. But maybe you are not blessed in that way. What do you need to do? So you want to lose 10 kgs. Here we are. There is no way you are going to lose your 10 kgs by figuring out that week number 1, you are going to do some exercise and the next 3 weeks, you are AWOL. And then you come back again, you're like, let me do it. And you come back and you go another 3-4 months and you come back. By the time the wedding comes through next year, this time, my friend, you are not going to lose that weight. Why am I talking about weight? It's because everybody that I know wants to lose weight. So I thought, let me just give you an easy example. So your consistency, my friends, in what you are doing, the craft that you are in, the more consistent, the more you're showing up, the more you're showing up in doing what you're supposed to be doing, the results will show. So don't wait for on the bench and then you're in and then you're out and then you're in, then you're with something else, then you're out, then you're in, then the consistency is not there. So therefore, you're not going to win. Or you might be winning spirit. What's that word again? That word. You remember that word? The one go up and down. Yeah, airtime. I've run out on my sporadic word. But whoops, there it came. So there we go, my friends. But let me jump on to another topic. Ask yourself, I do not want to leave you just with a J word, right? I want you to have this in your head and say, are you consistently learning? Right? It's a question. Are you consistently devoted in being a good parent? These are some of the things that we teach at the tribe. Are you consistently looking at the numbers in your books? Are you making money? Are you consistently checking those things? So ask yourself, where have I been consistent? Ask yourself, where do I need to improve? Ask yourself, how can I get help to be consistent? Because some of us, we need help from elsewhere for us to be able to be consistent. Because not all of us are good at this, right? I get it. And I'm here to say to you that you are not alone. There's many business owners out there that I teach, that I coach, that are in the same space. If you're in that position, come, let me help you, right? The next word we are going to be talking about is the environment. Growth is in the recipe of growth is the environment. Let me say that again. You can quote me a little bit later. What did I say? The recipe of growth is in the environment. When I was employed, I didn't know about networking. It's something that was extremely foreign to me. And I got invited to a networking session. And whilst I was there, I got there and I sat right at the back, and there was about 9, 10 people that were in there. And by the end of the networking session, long before they even closed, I was gone. Right. I got there for the information and then I left. But I started getting a little bit clever, or should I say, actually, no, let me not lie. I read a book. Right. I read a book, Networking for Dummies. Right. And if you want, you can read that book as well. You can Google it and get it. And within this book, my friends, it started teaching me what is it that I need to do to network. It spoke about preparing, it spoke about being comfortable, it spoke about what do you say, and all of those things. So the next time I went to a networking session, I was prepared. So I went in, I said, hi, my name is TJ, what do you do? And the other people responded. Then I realized within this environment, there were so many people that were doing investments, and I wasn't. And I said to myself, I want to be like that guy. I said to myself, how does that guy do it? And I said to myself, maybe I need to have a coffee with that guy. Or maybe I need to buy dinner for that guy. Why was I saying this now? It's because I realized in my environment, I was in the right environment, in the right soil. And I was the least person, I was the poorest person in that room. And that's the good room for you to be in, my friends. If you are in a room or in an environment where you are the top boss, then no, it's not the right room for you. You want to be in the room where you are the least, right? So that you can be able to learn. Or you want to be in a room where you're in the middle, so that you can be able to give to those that are below, and so that you can be able to receive from those that are above you, and so that you can connect to those that are on the side. And I call that the stadium effect. The stadium effect, there's always someone on top of you, there's always someone at the bottom, and there's always someone sitting next to you. And that's what life is all about, my friends. But if you're in the wrong environment, if you're in a toxic environment, if you're in a negative environment, if you're in an environment that it's not going to work, there's problems here. If you're in an environment where people are talking solutions, you are guaranteed you are going to grow yourself. So I want to help you. At the TJ tribe, we have created the tribe so that people like you can come in. We can mingle, we can hang out. And together, there's seasoned investors, there's young investors, And there's investors like you. There's business owners with big businesses. There's business owners that are just starting off. And there's business owners that are 2, 3, 5 years and you. So find, even if you are not going to come to the tribe, even if you're not going to come to the tribe, my point here is, do you have an environment where you are learning from? And if you do not have, that is going to be a hindrance to your success, and poverty is going to stick. I'm not going to lie to you. I've always been looking for environments. At the moment, I'm in an environment with people from all over the world. There's about 20 of us. And we cut across the United States, the UK, Israel, Canada, and there is people that I'm bouncing off my ideas. Will this work? Will that work? How did you do it? Oh, okay, let me learn from you. And the environment, a good environment, is going to make you live. And if you're not in any environment, my friends, you are going to be in poverty. But let's jump on to the next year. And remember, I did say to you guys, we are having the master classes. It's a good place to come. So how do you get to come to the master classes? Well, in the comments, we are going to pin, and basically we call it a page. And once you click on it, it will take you to a page. And on that page, you can be able to see when our next master classes are. And with that, all you just need to do is to pay for the next master class, and we'll see you in class. And we'll learn with you. It's amazing. Some of you would know that a couple of years I lost some money. My wife and I, we were employees, and we went out to do business. Like anyone else, we had no network. Like anyone else, we didn't do a lot of things intentionally. We're not even aware of our limitations. We never even reflected to see what was working, what was not. And what then basically happened is that our first business that we were doing, which was the first business, I love that business. It was car rental, long before Uber and them came in. We made some good money. We were around about 45 cars at peak. And all of them we rented out. And I was making good money. But I took that money and I then put it into chickens. But before that, I had another business, which was also another good business. And that was nappies. I was selling nappies, selling diapers. The company that I had was called Diaper Warehouse. And basically, I would wholesale nappies and I would sell them into the retail. It's a good business. I encourage everybody, if you've got a good thinking around it, it's a business that you can do, because kids are always pooing and people haven't stopped making babies. So it's a good business, right? The thing is that when you are in these businesses, like I was, within this business of diapers, we made some good money out of it. And we took the money in the diapers and we took the money in the car and then we put it into the chickens. The chickens, my friend, we made money year number 1. We made money year number 2. And bingo, we were not aware of the flu disease. Woo! Remember, I did say that you need to have an awareness. Remember, I think that was our second point, I think. Awareness. I was not aware of this disease that was around us. And guess what? We got hit. And from being hit on this disease, roundabout, we had one house of chickens was about 20,000. We had 8 of them. All of them were bent. We had to bend out the entire farm. At the time, that was around about 35 randi a chicken. So my friends, that was money being bent. I looked at all of that money and it went. It was a painful experience. We tried to get up, but we couldn't. We tried to borrow some money at the bank, but we couldn't. So we got indebted, heavily indebted. But here is the thing. I didn't want to have a replay of that experience. That pain of losing 5 million, it lingered with me. The pain of losing money, the pain of not being able to put food on the table, it got stuck with me and I didn't like that pain. But the pain, it got me somewhere. Where did it get me? Number one, I reflected and I said, wasn't I a good businessman? What didn't I do well? And I figured it out. And I said to myself, can I take risk again and go into business? And I said, yes, I can. But let me take the risk only if I've covered this limitation. Doing numbers is an example. Understanding financial models is an example. And all of these things, I got it from the pain. And my friends, you could be maybe sitting in a painful position where you're saying to yourself, I don't want to be poor. So use your pain to get to the next step. And the next step is your growth. And the next step thereafter is your growth again. The growth never ends. I get fascinated with people that are always asking me, TJ, if I start this programming or this program of coaching, when does it end? How long is it? I don't know. This guy here is a dumb guy. He's been learning since then. I am still learning from many different people. So I don't know how dumb you are. Okay, I'll take that word dumb back, ne? Just in case we might meet in the street and you say, hey, TJ, you say dumb. Okay, I'll take that back. But on a serious note, I don't know where your intellectual is. So maybe you need to learn for 1 month and you get it. And maybe you need to be learning for a lifetime. If you're wanting to grow your success, your wealth, people, I'm going to give you an example. This is not an example, but actually it's something that shook me the one day. The one day we were in a class with Robert Kiyosaki, and he then mentioned at the time that he was coming from a training where they were training at a cruise. So naturally, dumb of me, I thought he did say he was training, meaning that he was leading the training. Because here we are, I'm sitting, I'm his student, he's training me. And then later on during lunch, I said to my wife, babe, did Rob say he was training or he was being trained at the cruise? What did you hear? And she said, I heard as if he said he was being trained. And I said to myself, sure, this guy is in his 70s. He's coming from being trained. What kind of training? And I realized that every time I realized that those that are hungry for success, they never finish learning. They become students for life. And my friends, I want that for yourself. So when you find your limitations, that's where your training comes in. And you're continuously growing. In this ever-changing world, we need to be embracing learning. So whatever pain that you have today, use that to leapfrog you to the next space. Does that make sense? I hope that I'm really helping you here. If I'm not helping you at all, I apologize for wasting your time. But if I am, and if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And then number 2, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. But I honestly think that what I am giving you here today is things that are going to give you, that are going to get you out of the poverty trap. And it's going to lead you into success. to get your own riches. But above that, I want you to be wealthy. I don't want to be wealthy on my own. I also want you to be wealthy. So let's do this together. And what I'm going to jump into now is another point where we speak about trade-offs. This is a very painful position for many, many people, including myself. At a point, it was very difficult for me to trade off. Let us answer the question to say, what is a trade-off? A trade-off is, for the longest time, my wife and I, we realized that we were living beyond our means and we need to cut back. So we traded off having two vehicles in our household to have one vehicle. And we even chose to have the one vehicle that was old, and it was a paid off vehicle, which meant that we were not going to be the zhuang of the Johns because we're an old car. And because we are not all that. We're not driving a Mercedes, we're not driving an Audi, we're not driving the latest car. Okay. However, the money that came from the trade-off, we was able to save around about 10,000. Because we traded off, we said that this vehicle we don't need it. We did, I think needing is not the right term. We did not want it. We needed it. It was a good car. It would keep us in the right communities. We would feel good driving it. But we traded off that car for a 10 grand saving in our household. And we could be able to go on holiday. We could be able to do an investment. So it was a trade-off. And at a good time, we ended up buying with the investments a vehicle that we wanted. So we traded off. We sacrificed a little bit of je ne sais quoi in that time. It was a period of 3-5 years. And I want to ask of you, my friend, what are you willing to trade off? For 2 years, whilst I was employed, my last 2 years of employment, I traded off my Saturday, half my Sunday. I traded off my 8 o'clock to midnight every day to learn about real estate investment, to learn about business, and to do business, and to do investment. And by the end of those 2 years, I was actually able to go out of my employment without being fired, without being retrenched. I got out of the business and my family had an income because the business that I was building, whilst I traded off my time of sleep, whilst I traded off my time of weekend, I learned a lot. I did a lot, and I was able to replace my salary. And at the time, my wife wasn't employed formally at the time. She was also running her own business, and we made it work. What are you willing to trade off? I think many of us were not even willing to trade off anything. I invite you to say, come to school. You're not willing to trade off a little bit of your money that you have for the amount of wealth of education that you're going to get to grow yourself and grow your business, but you're not willing to trade it off. You rather hold on to that little money and make stupid mistakes in your investment. And when you make those stupid mistakes, again, you come back to us and you say, TJ, help me. I bought this development and it's not making money. What should I do? But why didn't you come to school? TJ, I got into this business and this person has run away with my 2 million. I can't find them. Why didn't you come to school? Who teach you how to partner up correctly? So you traded off something good there at the time when you're seeing it, but you're not aware of many other things around it. So my friends, I am not saying that my school is the best school. I am not saying that my school is the formula school. If you don't come to our school, I want you to find a school. If you're not making this guy your coach, I want you to find a coach. Maybe we're not compatible. Huh? Maybe we're not. Maybe I'm too vuss for you. Or maybe I'm too slow for you. But above that, if you are to do all these things that I spoke about right now, all of them, my friends, you are going to move away from the poverty line. And then the question I want to ask of you is, of all of these things that we have spoken about, maybe some of them you are already good at them. Maybe. Right? But some of them you're suffering. So the ones that you're good at, do more. The ones that you're suffering on, can I help you? Come to school. Let me coach you. Let me be able to help you so that you're not suffering anymore. Let me get you out of the poverty line. I really mean it when I say that. I want to help you. I've been helping others. Actually, at the end of this video here, you're going to be seeing amazing people that are doing amazing stuff. It is ITJ. We'll check you out on the next video if I'm to see you in the class. My friends, welcome. And as you have seen that we are going to be talking about awards, we are jumping into talking about awards in many categories at the TJ Tribe. We always aim to celebrate and to recognize anyone who is doing great, those that are in the tribe, learning with us, pushing boundaries for their own good, personal growth, and building their business. That's our thing here at the TJ Tribe. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the best walkthrough video for the year. Who is that going to be? I don't know. The best newcomer of the year. Bingo! Someone who just went from 0 to 34 tenants. Oh yeah, I mean it. And the best co-host. Who is it that showcased one of their properties and we got to enjoy and learn from that as well? Best video of the year. What is it going to be? You voted. Well, some of you voted, yes. And we get to talk about it today. And above that, we are also going to dive into the actual students, some of the people that are learning here. And I call them clients and I call them my friends because we are doing life, and we will nominate or recognize a lifetime award. We will nominate diligent investors, couples award at the TJ Tribe. This is something that we want to do all the time. We are of the firm belief that businesses start at home. Actually, it doesn't start at home. It starts with you first. And then obviously, if you've got a bed partner, it goes on into the bed partner, where we'll talk about who are those that got to be nominated and got to snatch the award of the Couples Award. Creative Award is another award that we're going to give. Go Big Award. Who is that going to be? So brace yourself. But what are these people going to be getting? Are they going to get a trophy? I don't know. Will they be getting money? Are we giving them a certificate? Nope. None of those things we are going to give away. Why don't we give away any of these things? It is also just a recognition, because here at the TJ Tribe, we are not about competition. We're not competing about the next person or the next family or the next business. We are all about competing with ourselves, improving our version from where we are today. Maybe you're an employee and you're improving yourself to be in business, or you're improving from yourself from being a business person at level number 1 and you're getting into version 2, version 3. But the bottom line is that you are becoming better at who you are. And that's why we do not give out all of these things. It's not a competition. The competition is with yourself, and that's why we focus on personal growth here at the TJ Tribe. So if this is your first time being here, welcome. My name is TJ. I'm a property investor. I'm a business person. But above that, I am your business coach. I can help you in your business. And I've been helping some of the people here that are going to be winning awards, which means that there's more within the tribe that are also learning. But I want to give thanks to a couple of people. My friends, this here or these videos that we are doing here, they wouldn't be existing if the team that I've got, if I didn't give them any credit. I think a lot of credit comes or goes to me because I'm always on camera and you're always seeing me. But there is a bigger team, more people that work within the tribe to make sure that these videos that you're seeing come out to you. And who are those individuals? From our research team, yep, we thank you. And from our editing team, we thank you. Actually, guess what? The entire production team, we thank you for these videos. And sometimes I do not know what to say. And sometimes I say it and I make a mistake in the videos, but they make me look good all the time. And we got to have a wardrobe specialist the other day. And they said to me, TJ, you don't look zhuang when you are on camera, when you're wearing black. I'm like, hey, black is my new thing. They said, no, we will not do that. Actually, guess what? Just paint your wall. I'm like, whoa, this is at a higher level. We thank you for coming in and changing the world of the TJ Tribe in 2023. But I also want to thank a special thanks to two companies or to two people. And these are my teachers. And some of you, you're coming to me and I'm teaching you. But I also have teachers because I want to grow. And I'm continuously growing. And in 2023, I am extremely grateful for two teachers of mine. They are coming from the company called Harvest, and they are out and about in the promised land of Israel. And that's where they are based. And the other company that I'm also learning from, it is called the Maxwell Leadership School, which is out in the States. So anyone and everyone who's been impacting me to impact you guys, all of you guys, my teachers, I really thank you for this that we have done within this year of 2023. I am amazed, I am challenged, and I am ready for 2024 because I know with all this support, we can do amazing things in 2024. I want to say to you guys, some of you may not know that in 2022, it was quite a bit of a bad space for me in business and in many things. In 2022, I was fighting for my health. For some of you, you may know, you prayed for me, and here I am, 2023, we moved in smooth, obviously with its own challenges, but here we are. Above that, my own mother was fighting cancer, and all of this, my friends, you were with me, and this is what life is all about. And even though all of these challenges were there, it's life. We were doing life. But that was 2022. 2023, it's coming to an end. And what are we going to be doing for 2024? That's the question that I want to give you. I challenged some people in 2022. And today we're now having to do these awards because those people, they pulled up their socks, they said they want to learn, raised their hands and said, TJ, I'm in, brother. I want to do this. And let's talk about these people. Who are some of these people? The first person that we are going to be honoring on this video for 2023 is none other than my good friend. And this is a guy that is called Leroy Slava. We no longer call him Leroy Slava, but we actually now call him Chief Leroy Slava. Why? Because his latest purchase that he did at the tail of 2021 and into 2022, he did a whole lot of renovations, and 2023 the building is now fully functioning for around about 24 million and so. And it's a village. And when I went through to see him, I said, brother, what's going on here now? You're calling this place Slava Village. And we made a good joke around that. Leroy, this is a humongous place, brother.
Big, eh?
It is.
Huge.
All of these trees, what are you going to do with them?
I'm going to
cut them out?
No, we leave them.
Is it?
We leave them. It's nice shade.
Oh, I see where you get the village from.
Not that creative, eh? No, I'm not that creative. We just keep it simple. It's called, didn't you see that? It's called the Village Mall.
I didn't when I came in.
So, what do you call it? You just take away the mall.
And then you put the slava there.
Put your name on it.
Oh, intelligence.
Why not? People call these things all the year. You hear Elizabeth Court. And why not?
Yeah.
We can also start putting our names on things. Why not?
That's it. I like that. But basically, Leroy, for most of you that don't know me, this is your first time coming here. Round about 10 years ago, we can just safely say round about close to 10 years ago, Leroy Slava was giving his testimonial whilst he was working for a company that's called Legacy. And Legacy is a company that Robert Kiyosaki owns. And within that testimony, I realized that, if this guy can do it, I too can do it. And they were selling some products of how to become property investors and all of those things in the UK and here. And my wife and I, we didn't have the money at the time, but we leaned in. And Leroy's story, for me, it resonated with us, and we could see that this guy is sincere, this guy is doing things. And all this time now, we have just become good friends. We do business together. And Leroy Slava, we gave him this year in the 2023, we gave him the award, Lifetime Award. Whoop, whoop. So here we go, Leroy. There you go. But why did we give him this award? It's because within the community of people that share, Leroy has been one of those people that have just been sharing their hearts. And you might be asking yourself, so who's this Leroy? Check out this video.
Hey, my name is Leroy Slava.
Yeah. Tell them how you
property
how
investor.
Me and you met.
How did we meet?
Yeah.
We met. I actually got him into the property thing, thinking about it. By the way,
it is true.
Is it
yes.
true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I
was coming to see Robert Kiyosaki, and then you were there.
Yes, he came and he saw me much better than Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, really?
And I did an amazing presentation that day.
Yeah.
Showing TJ what's possible in property.
Right.
And his wife loved me. He didn't like me.
Yeah.
And
no, my wife loved your story, not you.
No, not me.
No, she saw the possibility.
Wasn't the story, wasn't the looks.
No. Because I checked in, I'm like, are
are
we going in for Leroy? Or she says, it is the money.
It's the money. Oh,
yes.
Okay, you made sure first.
I made sure, yes.
Well done.
On a serious note, this is Leroy Slava, and behind us is the Slava
Village. We're calling it the Slava Village.
Away.
It was the Village Mall before, so we kept it simple.
Right.
Slava Village.
Cool. This is a big project, and I think it's the biggest. It's your biggest?
Biggest, yeah.
Good. So it's Leroy's biggest project, and I think it is a bigger project that I'm going to cover in a number of series. And the reason that we are going to be doing that is because this particular project has many facets into it. And like you know, on this channel here, we are all about educating you so that you can also do it. If Leroy taught me, he was taught. Now we are teaching you, so which means that if people like us can do it,
anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it, right? So we are in the heart of Boksburg. For some of you who don't know where Boksburg is, go and do your research. It's one of the old neighborhoods in Johannesburg, closer to the, it's not closer to the east, it's in the far east.
Close to the airport, it's about 15 minutes, don't make it sound too far. It's close to the, listen, it's close to the airport, 3 highways, beautiful. Eastern Mall is this side, after Edenvale.
So he's showing off Boksburg. For all the Boksburg lovers, in the comments, let us know what you do in Boksburg. But on a serious note, you stay here, that's number one. You kind of was born not too far away from here, and you know the area very well. When I started investing in Boksburg myself, I think things had kind of like gone downward, and we always hear of the area turning
there's this term that they utilize in real estate, and they say the area is turning. I'm of the view that Boksburg is turning.
Yeah.
It was on a good place back in the days, and it went down. So valuation of property went down and things like that. Bit of crime went up and all of those things that go with a bad neighborhood. And I think it's coming up. Now, coming up is because of people like you who are now buying these properties and turning them around to be something else. So as we are standing outside right now, there's a barren land where Leroy also has bought. So it's not just the building, but it's also this land. And behind it, actually, there's another video that I did with Leroy, which is a property that is literally
there.
Yeah, it's across the road.
Yeah.
You can see it, it's across the road. We will show you just now. And basically what Leroy is busy doing in Boksburg is turning old buildings into affordable housings that people can stay in. So he goes to the bank, gets the bank to finance it and put the project together, get people to stay in it. Those people go and pay the rent, and he takes the rent and pays the bank, and you kind of like reap the benefits after that, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. But let's talk about this particular building. What was it, Leroy, before you actually bought it now?
It was a retail village. So it had shops.
Right.
It had about close to 40 shops.
Okay.
But it was a failed retail little village. It had 3 salons, 3 churches, 10 vacant shops.
Yeah.
Some guys used 1 or 2 for storage. So it was a failed retail village, and it failed for like 20 years. I went to school there. I lived down the road here. We used to come way back up before school, come and smoke here.
You used to smoke around the streets?
No, in here. In here.
In the building?
No, it was open. Remember, it was open. Now it's closed.
So you used to smoke in this building?
Yeah, I used to smoke in this building.
Okay.
Cigarettes, not.
Okay, we don't judge here. Whatever he used to smoke in that building, now he owns the building. So you could be smoking in a building somewhere else, you could be owning it, right? How did you find it?
I actually found it on Property 24.
On Property 24?
I got an alert on Property 24 that said this building is for sale.
Right.
This building is opposite my other building, but I didn't know. I got an alert on Property 24 because I get simple thing, guys. The alert for Boksburg, for the East Rand, I get commercial property alerts.
Right.
And an alert came through, property for sale. They said 12 million. I came one day after church, I popped in with my wife, I looked at it, I phoned the agent, I said, now don't do this is not smart. I just phoned the agent, I said, listen, 5 million.
Yeah.
I was just testing to see.
Okay.
And
you had no reason?
You
saw it for 12 million and out of gut, you just said 5 million.
I just said 5 million. I was just testing to see what they'll say. And then you went back.
But you're at risk there because other estate agents can actually just be like, look, you're playing with my time, I don't want to talk to you. But when you did the 5 million, you later on had conversations. It's a deadly tactic to do because if you don't get it right, chances is that the agent can actually not even want to discuss business with you.
Yeah. Not true.
So I get why you're saying don't do it.
Yeah. Don't do it because it might even be too high. I didn't do any calculations. I just looked at it and it was just sometimes you don't think things through, you just and but another thing was because I owned a building opposite the thing, there's a bit of, do you understand? I've got a bit of credibility in the area.
You have an awareness of the prices in the area. So now you've put in an offer. This was telephone gun?
This was on the phone.
Right. And what did the agent say?
Agent said, you know what, agents want commission. Agent said, okay, let me go to the owner and then I'll get back to you.
Is this an agent that you had worked with before or never?
No.
You don't know them?
I don't know them.
Okay, cool.
And
so they accept your verbal offer and now they want to present it to the seller?
To the seller.
Yeah.
Then they go to the seller passed away. Seller's sick.
Yeah.
Seller's in hospital. And anyway, it goes quiet now.
Right.
It goes quiet for a couple of months. I follow up, what's happening? No, the seller, we're still waiting for the daughter, we're waiting for the children. Seller passes away.
Okay.
Sad news.
Yeah.
And then funeral.
Is the property still on property 24 if they'd taken it out at that time?
Was it still on? I think it was still on, eh?
So which means that other people could also be coming through to put in an offer?
Probably,
possibly.
yeah.
Okay,
possibly.
cool.
But at that time I was asking, how many offers do you have? No, I was the only one.
Right.
Because I think what happened is everyone came and looked at it as a failed retail.
They didn't see what you were seeing.
I saw an affordable, secure, residential village.
Boom! Welcome back. And I hope that you enjoyed the video for Leroy there. And I want to speak to you guys about the best newcomer of the year. This is an award that we are going to give out here. And basically the best newcomer of the year, we did a video of someone who is called Abraham. And Abraham, he is from Limpopo. And Abraham basically started following me around about 6 years ago or so. And he went to school, to another school, not my school. And within that, he started learning, and from above learning, Abraham took action. And basically in 6 months, January to June, or June to December, whatever you want to call it, Abraham went on to smash tenants from 0 tenants, 0 tenants, to 34 tenants. How about that? Someone asked me the other day when this video came out. He says, TJ, what kind of tenants are these? I said, it doesn't matter. The brother is doing it. He says, could there be rooms? I said, I don't know. Why are you judging the man on his merit of 34 tenants? My friends, he is taking action whilst you are still on the sideline asking stupid questions of what kind of tenants are these when the brother is making money. So Abraham, out to you in Limpopo. Yeah, Limpopo. Yes, we all know where that is. Limpopo. He learned, he took action, and here is a snippet of Abraham's video. By the way, all of these videos that I'm going to be sharing with you, if you had to jump in the description, we are going to put the full video in there, and you can jump into each specific video, the full length that is. But here is a short video of Abraham giving us where exactly how he started and where he is today. Enjoy.
I've got someone from the East, yes, from the East, and he is one of those people that's been doing good things in the property space. But let me not talk about him whilst he's here. He can tell us his story. Abraham, how's it going? Welcome.
Yes, Jack. Thank you very much for inviting me to the hot seat. It's not everybody's seat, so I'm glad that today I'm part of this conversation. As you have said, I'm Abraham Mokhatlane, Mokopo, Limpopo.
Right.
Working in Polokwane at a 9-to-5 job, but as part of preparing the future, escaping the race, I've started the property. So it means that I'm the property investor, and then I've got I'm married. I have five kids.
All right.
And then in terms of my school academic, I have a degree in the public admin from UNISA. So in short, that's my background. Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Where in Limpopo are you from?
The township, we call it Mokopo. Even the town is Mokopo. The previous name was called Nabomspruit.
Yes,
It is in Waterberg region. Yes.
Okay.
It's between Mokopane and Mudimuli.
Right. And you, where do you do most of your property business, Abraham?
I'm doing now because last year I've moved to Polokwane.
Yeah.
I'm doing between Polokwane and Mokopo. So I'm building a portfolio now. My focus in these two towns, Polokwane and Mokopong. In Mokopong, I've got 3 portfolio that I've started, and then in Polokwane, I've started development, which is currently running now.
Abraham, people might not know what a portfolio is. When you're talking about a portfolio, how many properties are they all together when you say you've got a portfolio?
I've a house at Mokopong, which was the main house. Then I've put that house under rental. And I've got 6 studio flats. And then I've got also 20 rooms. As part of my portfolio in Mokopong. In Polokwane, I'm busy now with development.
Right. And your development that you're busy doing with in Polokwane, what kind of a development is it?
I'm building a house which it is on sale. It is on the market.
Right.
So I started this development last year during the lockdown. So I'm building a house. It is on Property 24, and then with a certain agent in Polokwane. I think very soon I'll complete the house, and then I know that I've done the first one in Polokwane and going to the second one. So that is development that I'm doing in Polokwane. So it's very exciting project. Because when I started that development, I do not have money, but what I did, I refinanced my house at home, and then that refinance, the money was not enough. Then I have to be creative to look for partners. Then I approached few people. One of them was a constructor to say, look, chef, I have something to start, but I don't have money for labor and other things. And then this partner buy into my ideas. And then so when we assess the service of Bruno to say, Bruno, can you put us a nice structure, a joint venture that we can all of us agree to that, and Bruno assists us to put it the structure to say that how we're going to calculate the issue of profit, because I'm bringing the money, he's bringing the labor, and then the other partners which also are involved, they are bringing other building material. So this was the first huge project that I did not have ideas, but because of my coach, who's Mr. Leroy, I was able to navigate in this whole project.
Okay. And Bruno is what? Is Bruno the lawyer that I know?
Yes, the famous property lawyer from Joburg. Because last year, all these property, all these deals, they started last year around June, July.
Right.
You see, all these 3 portfolios that started last year. I joined a property academy, and in which I was doing that 12 module course. Then I was assigned a property coach. Then we start to package all this portfolio. So I'll say that having a coach on my side was very helpful, because it's good to have someone who have traveled this road. Then we can just use his experience and information to navigate the whole thing.
Abraham, my question to you is that it almost sounds like you are new in this property space, but in the same time, you have actually done quite a lot for someone who is new. That's number one. And then number two, I think the first question that I want to ask you is, you've got a job, and within that job, you're still employed, but then now you're doing property on the side. What has made you to start to do property?
Look, before I moved to Polokwane, I think 6 or 7 years ago, I was having a house in one of the township in Waterberg, Mudimule.
Right.
And then I bought that house for 30,000.
Oh, 30,000. When was that?
2011, 2012, somewhere there.
All right.
Yes. And then after a year or 18 months, I got married. Then my wife said, no, we need to move out of that township, go to my own township, Mohopo. Then I put that house for sale. That house will give me 300,000.
Oh,
But that deal,
he who has found a wife has found a good thing.
yes, because of that wedding and marriage, starting to build a family, we have to move and opportunity to open. But I do not see that there is a bigger things into a property industry, you see. And I took it light. That's why I started to open these smaller shops. I started Chisanyama, I started Deco and event management, but all of them did not work out. And then 2019 is where I started following the man, they call it Jack Taurai.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know him.
And I've never met that guy.
And in 2019, I followed Jack Taurai on the Facebook, and there was an invitation for the one-day seminar at Midrand, and I joined that seminar for that one day, and there was a lot of presentation. You also present and other people in terms of the stock fair and so on. Then the seed of property that was started to be developed. But because of fear, lack of courage, I did not practice what I've learned at workshop until boom, lockdown come. And during the lockdown, I said, what can I do? And I have this sense of property. And so I started to join Property Academy, and I got a coach, and I started to package what I have. Fortunately, I was having a house which was having a good equity. Then I refinanced the house and I started the project there. And then around November, December, I saw another opportunity in Mohopo where they were selling 20 rooms. And I do not have money, and they were saying to me they want 700,000. I said, no, I can't afford that, but I'm putting 500,000 on the offer. And then they agreed to that. They say, but because the bank cannot refinance this, you bring the cash. I say, I don't have the cash. But what I'll do, let us sign an OTP, which will say that I give you a deposit of half of that amount, and the remaining amount I will give you after 6 months. Yeah. But what is the catch here is that immediately I must take over the property. And the 1st of November, I took over the rental of the property. Then January, I finished paying off that property. And now I'm busy transferring that property into my name.
Boom! Let's come back to the investors. These are the students, people that I've been teaching for a while. And I want to introduce you to a guy called Nathan. I met Nathan, maybe it's almost now 2 years plus. And when I met him, he said to me, TJ, I want to scale my business. He was at the time, he was an employee and senior guy in the IT field. And over and above that, married, he was expecting a baby. They now have a newly born baby. And above that, he had his own company where he's just doing amazing things in the IT space and got a bit of money for himself. And he could qualify for quite a substantial amount of money. And he said to me, TJ, I want to scale my business. How best can you help me? And I met out Nathan and we started working together. It's now just been just below 2 years working together. And Nathan, we gave him the award of Diligent Investor. You might be asking yourself, what is that? Well, at the TJ Tribe, we are very intentional about our growth. What is it that we want to grow? And how do we want to grow it? What kind of resources do I have? What don't I have? And we always start with what we have so that it can grow us. And with Nathan, as I journeyed out with him and some of the colleagues that are learning together with us, they will know that Nathan, in the first year of learning, he literally just went out and he bought his first property. Well, not first property, but first property whilst he's in the program. And this property already gave him a substantial cash flow right from the start. And secondly, he then went on to realize that within his portfolio, he's got a little bit of equity because when he started off with me, he had already started out his business. So we streamlined his business. From streamlining his business, we found other people that could help us to extract the equity. So he started talking with many team members to help him with that, including accountants, including people that do structuring, including people with the banks and so on. And bingo, he didn't rush. He was just able to diligently plan his things. And bingo, he bought another property in between. And bingo, this year, he's actually in another property as we are talking right now. So in a very short period of time, Nathan has been one of those people who have been extremely diligent, very careful in his planning. He is not just planning to say, I want to get out of employment, but he is planning ahead for the generations to come. He's got his mother to look after. He's got his granny to look after. He's got so many people. People complain about black test. I've never heard Nathan complaining about black tests. Why? Because he is planning diligently. How do you do that? How do you do that? And all of these things is things that we are obviously helping him in the tribe. And I love him because he is a man that listens. And when he listens, he goes, he runs, he does it. So Nathan, to you, my friend, the Diligent Investor of the Year award. And here is when we gave him the award.
So who am I? I'm a husband, father to a 6-month-old girl, which I think just shapes your focus a little bit differently as you go on your journey. You realize that you're trying to build things for your family. I'm also very much into fitness, and I go to gym every day. I enjoy sauning every single day. I work in the banking sector, specifically in IT, so blockchain and artificial intelligence, those things. So that's a little bit of background on just who I am, where my focuses are. So why do I invest? I invest because I'm busy building for the future and for my family. I want options and I want the freedom to do what I want to do with my time and money. Like you realize your children is a certain age only for so long. You want to spend as much time as possible. I found that business and property is the most tried and tested vehicles to achieve that. Yeah, as you go on your journey, like I probably started in 2011. I bought my first property, and the thinking there was I was going to buy this property. My criteria was simple. I was going to buy this property. I needed a lot of land. I lived in Taurai, which is right next to UWC and Pentec. So there's a lot of students there. Everyone is busy converting. So my criteria was simple. I was going to buy this property. I needed at least 700, 800 squares. And then I was going to build it up. And that was my strategy. And that's kind of still my strategy as it stands now. So I bought that property in 2011. And then my grand got ill. And, she was struggling to move around. And we ended up moving to this house because it was quite bigger. And then that's where the rental thing started, because I started renting out my mom's house. We got some tenants in there. And that was going on for a while. And then I think as time goes on, you start looking, you're seeing a little bit of money flowing in. You start to see what next. I signed up for Audible like in 2008, I think it was. I checked now the other day, and I got reached that point. I think a lot of people's journey probably started with that. And then I think once you get the like liabilities, what's really a liability and what's an asset. I kind of fixated on it, but then I went like deep. Like I went through all the books and I did everything I could. I had some things that didn't work out as planned, like with regards to buying properties in a corporate, in a complex, which doesn't work with students. So that was basically the beginning. So I think what I'm trying to emphasize is the fact that I got exposed to these things at the early age. I got all the information, but I still didn't have the focus and the drive to actually execute on a lot of the good information that I had. I think so. For a while, I was in the property game. I started focusing on other things. Like I started building my career up. So work in IT, got a good career there. So then I started putting more emphasis in there, but I always come back to the property thing. And then I think in it was about 2013 and 2014. In all the books you read about accessing equity, and then I realized I can get some equity on the property I originally bought. I accessed the equity and I built like a 3-bedroom like granny flat and put some students in there. That went on. That was fine. Like I let that go for a year. A year after that, I let the tenants in the original house move out, and then I really started maximizing. That was when I started, started seeing other people doing other things in the community and just online. And I think from there it just started skyrocketing. Like in the Belhar space, I think I had about 14 or 15 students in there, and that was going all good. I eventually then moved out to the Bellville area, which is it's very close to Belhar as well. There I actually, in the same row that I was that I bought, there was 2 other student accommodations, and I actually saw their Wi-Fi, and I ended up connecting to that Wi-Fi, and I saw TJ and Rita and some of the guys were all like involved, and then I started just honing in on that, and like signing up for some of the courses and getting very much involved to understand what this thing is about. I think in August 2022, I signed up with TJ, and I moved out of my house in Bellville. We converted that to a 15 bedroom student accommodation. I'm very lucky. Like my wife has been moving along with me to all these properties. So we actually rented a place in Brackenfell area while we were converting. And yeah, I bought another property after that. It's like around the corner from the Iona property that in Bellville. And we're only going to probably be here. We're actually here now. We'll be here at this property for probably about 3 or 6 months, and then the plan is again to get to move to a longer term place. So yeah, like thankfully my wife is supporting me on this journey, and she's been very supportive, and I think a lot of other people might have been against moving around so much, but she buys into the vision. She sees where we're going, and yeah, like one of the things that I really gained from doing the whole learning thing is I'm doing things now with structuring my portfolios, with accessing equity, with having certain things available that I've always had, that I've never really tapped into. And I think one nice thing about being in a community where people are doing awesome things, where you can learn from them, where you can bounce ideas off and you can grow with, is like you do move faster, you do achieve certain things that would otherwise be very difficult in a much more seamless manner. At the property in Iona, I had some issues with the builder, where the builder actually ran away with the money. So I paid him a significant deposit, and he just ran off. And that was a learning lesson. But I mean, I told TJ about it, and like I'm busy doing the same thing now. And there's like tried and tested strategies that we now have of get quantities away, get all the costings up front, get the set milestones, penalize bad behavior, incentivize good behavior, like with the builder and things like that. So you get these things that you take for granted, but when you have someone that actually gives you this information and a community that can support you, it does really make a difference. Like I can see just in my portfolio and in my focus and in how I'm approaching the property and like business in general, I've got clear guidelines. Like I've currently got 27 students between Taurai and Bellville. My goal from here on in is to double that every single year. And I think another thing, and I actually picked this up at the last mastermind, was the idea of the business buffer and creating the float for the business for 6 months, just in case of emergencies. Like those are invaluable things that when you look back and you think about, I'm going to take on this massive debt now. Am I going to be okay? I still have sometimes that, or at least I had that fear of, should I go into this deal? What if I don't get income? What's the downside? What's the upside? But having these strategies in place just makes it so much easier to take these things, because you've got time and you've got exit strategies if you need to do, if you need to get out of the deal. So, but thanks, TJ. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome back, and I want us to introduce to you to another investor, or should I say a client of mine again. And I'm saying to you guys, a client of mine, these are people that come in, some of them might have a business of their own, or some of them might still be employees. This particular guy, he is still actually an employee, and he has built his business. He's been a client of mine for just below 3 years, and we've been grinding together. But actually, he started off, doing his own. When I found him, he was already doing his property thing, but he was doing it in a low scale. And I said to him, brother, how about we go big? And at the time, most of my business was focused on buying buildings, big blocks of buildings. He took a liking in that and says, TJ, how can I own these blocks of flats? And I said, brother, that's so easy. Let me teach you how to do it. And he came on board, and we've been grinding together. I call him the governor. Well, his name is Lesaja, and I'm sure you probably understand why we would call him Lesaja, because our own governor at the moment, it's called Lesaja. And Lesaja been around, and I think at this moment, he already has around about 4 buildings that he has bought. I think I might be underestimating those numbers, but the last time I had a chat with him, this was where he was. And also, the reason why we gave him an award, and that award is Student Becomes Teacher. Lesaja has not just become a teacher. He has gone out there and he is learning. And he hasn't been learning from me alone. He's been learning from many other people. And over and above that, he hasn't left the tribe. So for 3 years, he's in it. He's learning. He's implementing. Right? And over and above that, he has also now started teaching others. Right? The other day, someone said to me, TJ, when people go in and actually from your clients and they become to start teaching, are you not cutting the cake so that, there's more competition now? And I said to him, brother, I think you are being narrow-minded. There is so much business for all of us, but remember, for me, this is not a business. This is my responsibility as the man. Because as a man, our responsibility is not to get information and we become the reservoir to that information. Our responsibility is that we get the information and we become the river. So within this river style, Lesaja is doing the right thing. I can inspire him, he goes out to inspire someone else. And together, the community becomes knowledgeable. Over and above that, we become better people, better investors, and we start feeding for our own family. And my friends, here is why we gave this guy here, the investor of Student Becomes Teacher. And here is Lesaja.
Once you have learned something, you have got a duty to share the knowledge, with others, so that people do not make the same mistakes that you have made. One of the quotes that I love is that, which is the reason why I'm investing in property, is that landlords grow rich in their sleep. It is not as simple. Simply because you are a landlord, it does not necessarily mean that you will grow rich in your sleep. So there are a lot of things that you still need to do. There are a lot of lessons that you need to go through. It is not as glamorous, I must say, but I think with the right knowledge, with the right support behind you, you will definitely grow rich in your sleep. Perhaps maybe the saying should be, landlord grow rich in their sleep. Then you can quote me that it's Lesaja. But who's Lesaja? Briefly, I'm a husband to my wife, one wife, and I'm also a father to my 2 lovely kids. So basically, those are my why I have to wake up early in the morning and do what I need to do. And even over the weekend, I hardly get to spend time with my family, and also after hours because of the things that one has to do. I'm also what we called a 9 to 5. I'm a public servant. Specifically in finance, I'm a senior manager there. I regard myself as also a successful property investor. I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, and which will be the focus of my presentation in terms of what I am doing and the theme of today's presentation. Why do I invest in property? Number one, there are many reasons, and my reasons may not necessarily be yours, but the reason why I'm investing in property is to give a head start, not to my children, not to my grandchildren, but to my great-grandchildren that I may not even meet. And it's all about the long-term planning. It's all about understanding. Can you imagine one day, you're just wondering where perhaps your next meal is gonna come from, and then you get a letter that your great-grandparent that you don't even know anything about had actually invested with, say, Old Mutual or whoever it may be. So on a monthly basis, as great grandchildren, you are supposed to be getting 10,000 rand. So they invested that money in 1967. So that money has grown to you having to get about 10,000 rand per month. Can you imagine the head start that would give you? You get a head start from a person that you have never met, perhaps even a person that your parents may not even have met. So that is the reason why I'm investing in property, but also for financial freedom, and security. And my financial freedom may be different from your financial freedom. And when we talk about financial freedom, it's more about the time to then say, I want to spend time with my family. I want to do the things that I love, not necessarily the things that I must do because I need to earn money, but the things that you love, and then money will come later. And also, I want money to work for me. I don't want to work for money. I'm working for money at the moment, but it's a legacy that I'm building to make sure that at the end of the day, money works for me. But also for passive income. The rental income that you get when you do invest in property, for an example. And I know it does not necessarily mean that it is passive, depending on what is it that you're actually doing. It may be that you need to put in about an hour a day or about 5 hours a month to earn that income. So it is passive. You don't have to wake up every day unless it's something that you do on a full-time basis, in which case it's not a passive income. It is part of your career because you could still be doing it, as a property investor, but something that you do on a full-time basis. But also the infinite returns, the tax breaks that we know that they are there when it comes to property. Why? Because we are performing a function that government ought to be performing. So for that, they do reward us. So there are tax breaks. Also for capital appreciation and diversification of my portfolio. I'll try to be as fast as I can. How's the journey been going? And I know I did not mention where I started and so on. If I could go back to there, but I don't have that slide. But basically, where I started, and I think I had a session with TJ, rather an interview with TJ, where basically I said my tenants paid for my wedding, because we wanted to do a white wedding. Did not have the cash because we know how much it actually costs. But with the power of property, because I bought that property in 2016, I bought it for 300,000 plus VAT. At that time, it was 14%. It worked out to 342,000, excluding the transfer and bond cost. Got 100% financing. It cash flow for about almost 3,000. It had an equity of almost about 350,000. So I was able to tap into that equity and gave my wife the wedding that she wanted. I'm known as a person who is investing in property through property auctions. Like I said, I was at an auction today, but not necessarily for property. We're just looking for household stuff. So they are available at auction properties as well. But in terms of the journey, and then I then joined forces with TJ. I became his student, because I used to say to him, he's been mentoring me from a distance. I must mention, I think my family even knew him before they met him, because all his podcasts, I used to listen to them, to the podcast, from work. I don't watch TV these days, except when I watch Sundowns, because that is the only team in the country. If you don't not watching Sundowns, I don't know what you'd be watching. But that's a topic for another day. So on YouTube, my family knew him. There is this not so nice voice that they would hear from my laptop, the voice of TJ when he was teaching. And when I finally joined his tribe, it was an honor for me to finally be his student. And that was in 2021, I think. Yeah, 2021. So that's when I joined his tribe. In 2022, a friend of mine, we joined forces. I also introduced him. He became a student to the tribe as well. So within a space of a year, we managed to buy 3 properties. Because I've been in the game for a bit, longer. So we moved from the normal buy to let to to the multi-layered block of flats. So this is the first block of flat that we bought. I bought it at an auction in February 2022. We bought it for 2.4 with a rental income of 55,000 per month. So here's the details of the property. And again in March, the following month, they were all financed by TAF. We got 80% loan to value. This one is in Terfontaine. We bought it in March the following month at an auction as well. Bought it for 2.3 as well. Got 80% loan to value. It's got a rental income of 50,000 rand before the cost, of course. There's another one that's not here that we bought in Soshanguve. We bought that one for cash for R1 million, with a gross yield of, with a rental income of about 37,000 rand. And this year, I then joined forces with another friend of mine to venture into student accommodation. So I've made an offer, got financing now. That's one property that we are buying, student accommodation, in Brixton, accredited for 30 students. Once it is fully occupied, it is running, so we're not going to do anything. My strategy has always been to take over what is already there, maybe later on to maximize it. But because I'm working full time, I would not have time to do development, to do renovations and all these other things. I prefer to take it as it is running, as long as it meets my investment criteria. So I bought that for 2.7. It's got the rental income of the student accommodation when it is fully occupied and accredited. It gives you, with NEFSAS rate, it gives you about 131,000. So that's a student accommodation. The plan this year, the goal this year was to buy a 200 beds. At the end of the year, we must have 100 beds. It was 100 beds at the end of the year. So we currently at 30. We are 4 months away before the end of the year. So I think we can still get to the 100 beds that we want. So if I were to, what would I say to a young researcher? So that is a young person who's just started working, who may be a university student. One, start early so that you can then harness the power of compound, investing, because it is quite massive. Number two, invest in yourself. The rates are massive. As a young person, I would say forget about the parties and those type of life, young lifestyle that young people lead. Not that you should not go out and partying, but don't do it excessively. So invest in yourself because the returns are massive. Because what you've learned, as a 21-year-old, it will sustain you for the rest of your life because it remains in you, it remains in your mind. And the third one is get a mentor and a coach. That will definitely propel your journey. And also you need to have an emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is, you don't have to do what the next person is actually doing, but rather you can learn from them. So don't want to live like the Jones because you don't know how much they are spending. So the concept of why each one teaches one, why am I teaching? One, I like giving back. It's a way of me to give back because I believe that, whom much is given, much is expected. The knowledge that we have, we've got that responsibility to give back, to our brothers and sisters so that our community can then grow. And also to create a positive impact in our society. Because once you have an educated, and I put that educated inverted commas, people who are financially literate and know how to do investment, how to do due diligence and so on. So that will have a positive impact in our society. And also to build stronger relations and networks. It becomes easier for me to pick up the phone and WhatsApp a friend. And some people that I don't even know, that people that I'm working with, that I've partnered with, we have never even met. Physically, we know each other on social media. That's where we met, and we've been able to build those relationships and the networks. But also, it's not about necessarily a one-way street, because I believe that in the process of me teaching, I'm not only enhancing my skills, but I also get an opportunity to learn from those that I may either be teaching. Like I said, it's not a one-way street because I always say I don't have all the answers to the question that people may have. But the other thing is about leaving a lasting, legacy. So because we have that responsibility to teach our people, we have that responsibility to teach the next person so that we leave the world a better place than we found it.
Welcome back, and I want to start to give you guys a short story about when I started investing in real estate. And I didn't have any money. I'd lost a bit of money at the time, my wife and I, and that's when I wrote my book, From Bad Debt to Property Mogul. But I was very diligent when I started investing. I didn't have any money, so I did a lot of partnerships. And in 2021, 2022, I went through a process of divorcing quite a lot of those partnerships, because some were not working, things were not going out the way that I wanted to go, and I decided to restructure. And if you're a man and a woman out there and you're in business, and if you don't take the process of restructuring or just stopping and reposition yourself, and you're just doing the same things again and again and again, you may not be growing. So restructuring is a good thing. You might be saying to yourselves, TJ, why are we talking about this? In your journey of investing, when I started off, I was an employee. I was employed with the bank Barclays Africa, which later became ABSA, and ABSA just bought off all the other banks from Africa, from Barclays. And around about 3 years into my employment, I realized that sooner or later, what was going to happen is that they were going to retrench quite a lot of people, and I needed to get a backup. And my backup was going to be, how best can I do this? And I went hard on investing with my partners, and I managed to get out of employment. There is someone that I want to introduce to you, my friends, who literally went out of from being an employee to an investor, just like what I did. So I'm not the only one who can do this. There's so many of us who can do this. And in his absence, we received the award, Employee Became Investor. And this is Kanya. Kanya went from, when he started learning with me, which is around about now, maybe about 3 to 4 years ago. In this time, it was just a hobby actually when I was doing this. I wasn't doing it seriously like I do now. Kanya went in, I think he had about 5 units, like 2 beds that he had. And he went from that in a space of like two years or so to run about just below 200 beds for student accommodation. And this man here, he left his employment, and anyone can do this. And this is a snippet of how he did it. So Kanya, how's it going? Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Good evening to you, TJ. Good evening to you, Rita.
Hello.
Kanya, who are you? Give us a snapshot. Who are you? What do you do? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, TJ. So, who I am is firstly an environmental scientist, but also a passionate property investor, mostly focused like on your student accommodation and multi-lets, especially in your inner cities or your CBD areas.
So a lot of people, I think, they would think that being a scientist, if you're a scientist, you kind of like set, because there are not so many people who become scientists. And there you are, you decide to be a scientist, but also you have a passion for property. And not only have you left your being the scientist there, but you're still doing it.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask the question to say, why property as well? Because being a scientist, there are not so many people. You could probably get a job anywhere else, specialize in what you specialize in, because there are not so many people who are keen to study the way you have done it. But why property then?
Yeah. So besides being a scientist and following like what I'm passionate about, which is mostly like your environmental things, because you're going to laugh at this, because my favorite cartoon growing up was Captain Planet. So that's what in a way played a part in me going the environmental scientist route. But then I also noticed that besides following your roots, your passion and what you're passionate about, I realized that when I was working as a scientist, I saw that the job was not going to give me financial freedom, sort of working for somebody else. Because usually as a scientist, you'd either be at a university or like lecturing, or you would be like at a research institution doing research. But I thought that doing that is not going to give me financial freedom. So property would be the way to go. I mean, there's no other asset class that has been shown to produce financial freedom or more millionaires than property.
Kanya, what is it that you think in your journey so far, something else that you have leveraged off besides time?
Yes, TJ. So besides time, other people's time, also one can leverage off other people's skills. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is to try to be the jack of all trades. So just leveraging of other people's skills, like what I've just mentioned now, where a management company will, besides leveraging their time, also their skill of managing the tenants. For example, if you've got like a student accommodation property, maybe you yourself, you might not be that great in terms of managing students and their naughty side. So rather outsource that skill to someone else who is better skilled in terms of managing the students and their expectations. And also when it comes to like running the numbers, maybe someone like an accountant, to maybe like run the numbers for you when it comes to analyzing the deals. And of course, you're doing your auditing and your accounting.
You left school, became a scientist. When did this thing about properties start, and how did it start for you?
Yes, man. So where it triggered for me is when I was working as a scientist. I was working for a company, and I was also noticing that for someone, I was saying to myself, okay, for someone who has a master's degree earning less than 15,000 Rand a month, and I thought this can't really be right. So then I was invited to a seminar of an investment club called the P3 Investment Club. And in this seminar, they explained, they spoke about what your wealthy people do, whereby they buy properties in trusts, and then they obviously leverage their income from those properties. But the one thing which I disagreed with this investment club is they were saying your properties don't have to be cash flow positive from day one. They will be cash flow positive after a few years. Because right now, one of my principles is that the property must be cash flow positive from day one. So really, where the trigger came was I was saying to myself, okay, I'm a scientist with all the qualifications. My income cannot be this limited. And then I got invited to a property seminar, and I saw all these people building property portfolios. Yeah, that's why it triggered for me.
So an investment is supposed to give you money. That's an investment. And definition of an investment, it gives you money. It's an asset. And if it's a liability, it's taking away money. So it's not an investment, right? So you identified that this is a liability. Now, other than this issue here that we spoke about, in the beginning, what were some of the challenges? Kind of like, you know, we all start off somewhere. You started off on a one bed, one bath. Now, what were some of those challenges that you were faced with for you to start grow now?
Yes, man. So one of the challenges, TJ, was that even before I bought this first property, I actually did attempt to buy another one, but the main challenge or the aha moment that struck me was when I was applying for my first bond. I got rejected. I was saving quite aggressively from the money I was earning, like investing in your ETFs, exchange traded funds. And then I thought that the banks are going to look at you favorably if you are saving and you stay away from debt. But I got told by what shook me. I still remember the feeling in my body when I got told by the bond originator that you have been declined. And then I said, why? And they said, it's because you don't have a credit record. You've never had debt. And I said, what? So we are expected to be in debt in order to get bonds. And then, yeah, then that struck me. And that made me think, okay, so that's how the banks work. It's almost like you, in order to get a job, you must have work experience. But now, where do you get the work experience from? So same thing when it comes to getting bonds. First get like a credit, even if it's a store card or a credit card, so the banks can see how you manage your debts. Then you can apply for bonds. So that was the first stumbling block that I came across, the importance of having a credit record. And then also with once this first property was bought, the one thing that I noticed also was that because it was a sectional title, I got frustrated with with levies, because I noticed that levies were eating into my profits.
Kanya, I want to dive into a particular deal that you are happy to tell us how you found the deal, and how you go to finance it, and you choose any of your deals. If you can pick a more complicated, the happier I am. But I also don't want us to lose the people, because I know that there's people that are just watching and they're wanting to learn. But if you have to choose a deal that you can walk us through from the start to where it is now, how you got it in and where you are now and why are you there, then we'll appreciate it. So tell us of a deal.
Yes. Yeah. So TJ, the deal that I'm going to talk about is actually one of the deals that has happened recently. So it is a student accommodation building in Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape. So how I came across it was that there was an estate agent who I had a good relationship with. here in Joburg. But then I said to them that for now in 2021, 2022, I want to get some deals there in Port Elizabeth, because I was hearing that the shortage of student accommodation there was quite hectic. It was quite a big shortage. So I thought I could tap into that market. So I said to this estate agent in Joburg, why don't you speak to some of your colleagues in Port Elizabeth, your fellow agents, and try them to find me a deal for student accommodation. So then a month went by, and then after about 5 weeks, the agent calls me and says that she has come across a student accommodation deal, which she thinks I would like. And then I went down and did the viewing, and I liked the deal because it's a building that houses about 100 students, and the building. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. So the building houses 100 students, and it also had accreditation from the local university, the Nelson Mandela University. It had NSFAS accreditation, so there was another tick in the box. And also that how the deal happened, which was like something that I'd never done before, was that instead of doing it the normal way, where you obviously do it using an OTP, where you just buy the property using an offer to purchase, I'd never really thought of doing a sale of shares agreement, where instead of buying just the property, you actually buy the company that owns the property. This normally works in situations where the property is the only asset in the company, right? So, the sellers, myself, the agent, and the sellers, we met over coffee, and then we thought about the benefits of the two options: the normal route using the offer to purchase, or the other route using a sale of shares agreement. So we decided then on doing the sale of shares agreement, where we would buy the company, because we discussed that the benefits for the buyer and the seller would be that the benefits for the buyer would be that you don't pay transfer duty because it's a commercial property and you are buying a company. And then for the seller, the benefit would be that they minimize their capital gains tax. But then questions came up that if I'm buying your company, I don't know what you have done with your company in the past. What if you've used the company for other sureties or for other debts? So in order for me to buy this company, I need to know the financial history. I need to know the annual financial statements, the audited financials of the past 3 years. And I would also say that I also need to be sure that you don't owe the SARS, the revenue service, too much money. So I also need a tax clearance certificate to make sure that this company is up to date when it comes to their tax. Because imagine buying a company and then 6 months down the line, you get a surprising message from SARS that this company owes this much, something that the previous owners didn't tell you. So the deal then, as I've said, happened as a sale of shares agreement. And even up to today, I'm still glad that I've gone that route and that I did my due diligence.
Well done. At the TJ Tribe, we're always encouraging that business should be a family thing. And I get it, that not everyone would be financially savvy. So you might be married and bingo, the next person is not financially savvy. And that's okay, right? But we encourage that whoever who is financially savvy needs to lead the conversations of money, needs to lead the conversation of taking risk and all of those things. However, if you can do this as partners, as a husband and wife, this is one of those things that we encourage to say, my friends, let's do it together. Because together, if the other one goes to see Jesus, The other one will still survive and lead on with the business. Or if anything is to happen to one of you, at least you still have a succession plan. The next award that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is people that I think have been doing this for a while. Because they do not like to be on social media or things like that out there, they are like me before I became a disciple, right? When you become a disciple, you just share, right? These guys here, no. They want to keep their life private. So let's respect that. That's okay. We're going to call them Mr. and Mrs. John. And Mr. and Mrs. John, basically, John, which is the Mr., he started learning with us around about 3 years ago. And he was coming in and he learned. For 1 year, John didn't do nothing. He didn't invest. He didn't go out there and take any risk. Nope. He was learning and learning and learning. He's an engineer by profession, and together with him and his wife, in the first year, John took the risk. He went to buy a property, and bingo, this property was a good deal. It was giving him around about 5,000 Rand cash flow from the word go. And over and above that, they had some space to do some expansion and things like that. And that became their property number one. Did it come so easy? No. It was at the back of 12 months of learning. Some of us today, we want to grow, but we don't know how. How about starting with learning? We can see with all these people that are doing amazing things for themselves and their businesses, they are starting with learning, but within the learning, they are also taking action. So, I might be asking yourself today, as we're on these holidays, between you and your bae, what are you willing to take action on next year? What are you willing to learn? Because this couple, in their second year, Mrs. John started also coming to class. Mrs. John also started coming to the coaching sessions. And bingo, they started to expand their business. And we gave them the award of the Couples Award. And together, I do think that when we started seeing them working together, they started winning. And the wife at one point, she gave a testimonial and she said, look, I wanted the idea of this business. The money was great. It sounded great. But I wasn't so keen on the work because I didn't know what was involved. But I knew that I want my father. My father hasn't left any inheritance or anything like that. And I wanted to do something great because I know that I can afford today. But I've now realized that I needed to learn. So here is the Mr. and Mrs. John. And it's their pseudonym that we give them, seeing that they do not want to be on camera, isn't? But here is one of their properties that we went out to check out. And we are thankful for Mr. and Mrs. John that even though that they didn't want to be on camera, they were able to release their property so that you and I can learn.
And I'm grateful because most of the things wouldn't have been possible if my wife was not able to say, okay, I hear you, what you are saying. Here is the pay slip, let's go. Because in all those applications, we had to do them jointly to sign sureties at the bank. And gradually, my wife started understanding this thing from education perspective. And I invited her to one-on-ones with TJ. She came through. And I think it just kept going on, one moment after the other, growing. Last year, we closed the deal, which was a deal that came to our table as well from one of the agents we know. We have actually, in our primary residence, we have 2 flatlets outside. So I'm not managing it. I've got an agent who's managing it for simple reasons that I don't want to get involved with the tenants when I'm just, you never know what would happen from relationship perspective. So I gave it to an agent to manage it, which eventually led to us getting a deal through that agent. It was a property which was a value of 2.3 million. We were able to purchase it at 1.8. It was quite a big house. We did a whole new repurposing of the of the property to 8 multi-let units. So if the one we bought in Albertine was also multi-let, 6 units, combination of 1 beds and bachelors. So we did quite a similar thing here, which is also a combination of 1 beds and bachelors, and it's working quite well. We got it. It was registered last year, October. We had to push and break walls and reconfigure the house within 3 months. It was ready, and what we did there, we had to just also try and introduce the gas geysers, which is something that is very helpful. I see it today. I mean, in the area, because it's literally 2 kilometers away from our house. In the area now, we haven't been having electricity for the past week, but at least the tenants have got hot water. You can imagine even to take a shower early morning during winter. So that for me, it's already yielding the results. At least, although they don't have electricity, but they still have hot water. So it was one of those things, and I think we're still grinding. At the moment where we are now, we are sitting with an equity in our portfolio of just under 1 million. You can imagine it's the money that is at some point, should we need to access it, we can easily access it and move our business to the next level. But what we have decided to do now, given the fact that we were only working with our conventional banks, we said, okay, fine, let's stabilize the business now with the 3 properties that we have in the business, and start looking at other opportunities within the investment space. And because of the opportunities in terms of communities, in one other community, I came across someone who introduced me to investing in green energy. And today, as we stand, we are investing in green energy using our tax monies. And we have now a 12 kilowatt system installed at our premises. Having mentioned that we don't have power in our area for the past week, we are happy today. So, but I mean, it goes back to the topic of the day today, which is now making sure that you belong to some form of a community. If I didn't ensure that I continue looking for the community that talks to me, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. And I must say I'm quite happy in this regard, because now I'm also taking it to the next level and saying, yes, I've got this opportunity, but I want to share with the people around me so that they can come in as well and invest with us in using green energy and their tax money. Because you can imagine we are paying tax every day, but it never gets to come back. It's gone. But the government has got an opportunity, Section 12B, to say, come, if you are investing in green energy, we give you our tax money back. So that's what we are doing now. And we will continue looking for other opportunities to try and diversify, and not also forgetting that we need to continue scaling our business from building a property portfolio in that regard. So from my side, I think that's that. I can hand over to my wife if she's got 1 or 2 lines to just indicate.
Good afternoon, everyone. That was a mouthful. For me, why do we invest as a couple? I think it goes without saying. We've been married for the past 8 years. We are currently parenting 3 little ones that we're blessed with. Our youngest is only 2.5 years old. And she came at the time when my husband here was just starting the lessons with UTJ. So we normally discuss the names of the kids before they are born. So he came up with the name Bokamoso, and in English it means future. So I think she just came at the time where we were building the future for our kids. So we're doing this business just to make sure that they grow up comfortably than how we grew up. I'm a firstborn of 3. My husband is the lastborn of 5. And both on our sides, we didn't have the luxury of having the parents that are financially capable to give us everything we need, but they could only give us they could not give us everything we could come across, but could only provide for what we really need at the time. So we're trying to get to a space where we can be able to give our kids anything they want at any point in time without having to say waiting for the bonuses and all of that. So yeah, we're just building as a family to try and close the gaps that we did not have the opportunity of at the ages where our kids are now. We started learning together around early last year. That's when I started to attend the one-on-one classes with my husband to try and enrich my knowledge. Trust me when I say it wasn't an easy decision for me to make. So you can imagine, he started learning when I just gave birth to our young one. And at that point, you can imagine how the hormones are all over the place. He would say one thing, I would share it in the other way, and it would be just a mess. But I appreciate the fact that God helped me to really listen and hear what he's really teaching me. I'm proud to say now that I'm able to share this with my people in my circle and try to enrich them in terms of knowing how important it is to have such lessons to better your life. I'm honored. Thanks, TJ, for sharing your knowledge with my husband. The challenges, I think it was just a matter of alignment for us in terms of at the stage where my husband was at when he introduced this to me. He was more advanced than where I was. So having to be on the same place, it took us some time, but we conquered that now. So
yes,
we are we're doing this together. It's not an easy one, but I can promise you it's doable. How is it going now? It's going really very well. We don't have much of the issues in terms of the properties that we have. I can say the biggest challenge that we had for ourselves was towards the end of last year. As my husband said, we got a property in October. So obviously we were responsible to make sure that everything is paid. For the time when we were doing the conversions and all of that, you can imagine turning a normal house into 8 individual units. It's not a child's play. So I didn't even see my December holidays. Even everyone in the family, even the kids know, when we say we're going to the site, everyone is going there to work because it's money and time that we're investing there. And I can tell you that today, we're just looking at it and people driving in and out of there. And I'm like, yes, this is the hard work that we've put in. And I don't regret the fact that we didn't enjoy our holidays because now we see where our time and money went to. What would I do differently if we were to start again? I'll start learning just when we met. Because in 2019, we were about married for 4 years. So I think if we started earlier than that, we would have been far. Even maybe if we had the powers to make decisions about the kind of wedding we wanted, we were going to have something lesser than what we had and use that money to invest in this business. But you know how it goes in the African family. You come with a decision on the table and they say, no, you're not the one making decisions, but the celebration is about you. It's something I'm still trying to understand even to this day. But I promise that for my kids, I would not allow that. Whatever that makes them happy, it's what we're going to go with. That's all from us. Thank you.
My friends, you remember back in the days when I used to buy for properties for 100 grand, 160. I wrote about it in my book. And over and above that, I've also done 1 or 2 videos where I've shown you a property deal. I think this was my first deal that I bought. I bought it for 160,000. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath, valued at 500,000. And a lot of people hung on to that and say, TJ, you gave in a cheeky offer, so I can also do it. It's not that. It's learning the art of doing it and seeing the opportunity where it's going to come in and then being able to do it. It's not just about giving in a cheeky offer. My friends, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because within the tribe, Someone has beat me to, when you teach someone, they're going to get, not only are you what you're teaching them, they're going to put in their own secret source of their own thinking, where they come from, and everything that they have in their own area, and they're going to smash it. In this case, my friends, I bring you someone that we have now just given the award of creative award. So creativity is what this individual is. His name is Andrew Kaplani. And Andrew Kaplani is not new to the channel. You've seen him. He's given out his testimonial of how he's doing his business, showing us the way, but above that, buying properties at a very cheap price. Affordable. 50,000. Can you buy a property for 50,000? This guy is doing it. Some of you already have 50,000 rand in your credit card, but you don't know where to get these deals from. Why? Because you're not educated. Now here is Kaplani, who's coming in, and he is buying these properties. He's now on his third property that is bought for 50,000. And I'm like, brother, you are the man. I thought I was the man. But in the tribe, nobody else can do this. It's only him who's been able to do such kind of things. And we celebrate him. And it's all about us celebrating him in the skill that he's got. And here is a short video from Andrew Kaplani. Well done for 2023, by the way.
How do I invest? In the past, I thought that investment, for you to be an investor, you have to have money. But as TJ is teaching us, I slowly starting to, my mind is opening up that no, it's possible also even without money. And then the other day, I heard Jenna said, you can look for a deal, analyze it, do some calculations, and once you are satisfied, you have to be creative on how to get money. So, you know, those words from Jenna, they are stuck in my mind, that when you get a property, just be creative on how to get money. Because, you know, knowing my credit score, I knew that I wouldn't get funds from the bank. And it's going to be difficult. So I had to look for ways of how am I going to buy property. So I know that place very well. And then I was neglecting the place for many years, but I went back there, I studied the place, I looked at the area, and then I told myself that because I'm not qualifying for these houses for 1 million, let me focus on this area. Then I started studying the area, and I even went to a town planner, Dumsani, who helped me to get a feasibility study of the area. And I paid 1.3 for that document to come out. And it helped me a lot, because that's where I saw on the map that this is a tourism area. And the tourism area, the portion is, it's very big. It's colored in purple, you know, on that study. And the rural area is also very big, meaning there are people working in the rural areas, in the farms. There are people also working in the tourism areas. There are lots of B&Bs, hotels. There are many, many, many places where people come there and relax. So people who are working there, there are many people who are working around the area, but they have a problem of accommodation. So I saw an opportunity, and I started seeing money. And you see money by your mind, you know, you see money by opportunities or helping, like closing the gap. You look at the gap, what's not there, then you start seeing opportunities. Then after that report, I started word of mouth, talking to people on the streets, my relatives, my friends there, and then guys help me to look for properties. If you hear anyone selling a property, some of them I would give them money to encourage them. Then one day my cousin called me and said, there's a lady who is selling a property. So we went to that lady. That lady said, yes, I'm going to sell, but I'm not ready. It's a diseased estate. So TJ taught us in the past that when you are a newbie, you must avoid developments, student accommodation, diseased estates. So I avoided all those, but with this one, I couldn't avoid because, you know, the return on an investment was so good. When I make some calculations there, I could see that I can get up to 38% return on an investment. And some of the houses you can get up to 43% on an investment. You buy the house for 50,000, you get almost 5.5 as a rental because it's one house but with shacks outside. Now, because there's no accommodation, people are prepared to stay in those shacks and they are paying quite good of money, which is something like 800 rands a shack, 900 rands a shack. So one house can give you something like 5.5. So I was very happy. Then I started concentrating on those houses. So I've learned that if the opportunity isn't completely obvious, then it's not a great one. I don't want a house where I'm not sure whether it's profitable or not. I want something which is obvious and it helps me as I'm starting my journey. So lastly, let me talk about this deal. I think I joined the TJ tribe by signing a contract last year, October. So after a month or two, that's when I got this property. And I went with the guy there. The guy, he's always following me. He likes learning from me. I'm teaching the guy. We're in the same church. So the guy, we went there. As we went there, we managed to sign the offer to purchase. And then as we came back to Pretoria, then I knew that the guy had money. So I asked him, "Bra, are you interested in investing with me? I'll give you 15% return." He said, yes, yes. I said, "How much can you give me?" He said, "I can give you 80,000. I said, wow. I was so happy. Then I could see these things are possible. Then I looked for another investor. He gave me the closing costs, which is about 15,000. Then I closed the deal. I took that lady to Pretoria to meet with the lawyers. He signed everything. I took him to Wimpy. I said, "Choose whatever you want." I bought him meat, everything. I was so happy. And then we went back. I dropped her at home. And I didn't have a car. You know, we are using this guy's car. And the guy is paying for petrol. I'm not even spending for petrol. He's happy to learn from me because I'm with TJ. You see, connection. Yeah. So now, after the promise was in 90 days, I would give them their money back. So we signed a lending contract. The lawyer charged me something like 1.5, 2,000 to draft the contract so that it can protect both me and the investor. Even if something happens to me, my properties are in the business, he can claim towards my company. So it's an entity that does not die. So that's what I'm telling the investor. So they become trustworthy because they can see that I know what I'm talking about, even though I'm not seasoned yet, but some of the things at least I know. Then we signed the contract and they gave me the money. And now in 90 days, I started becoming creative because I looked for money from the banks. They declined me. Now what to do? Since they declined me, I checked in my credit card, I checked my overdraft. Then I even sold my primary home so that it can give me something because it was not benefiting me with anything. Then I moved to another place to hire a house. But now that new place that I got, where I'm going to hire that house, I'm going to also work from there as a fashion designer. And then the fashion designing business will pay for my rentals there. So I'm not losing anything by selling that house. But at least that money managed to help me to pay the investors back. I paid them back. But now what I'm going to do, as I have signed leases with the tenants, as they are paying in the bank, they are creating a record. Then later on, I'm gonna go back to the bank and show them the history so that I can refinance the house. I managed to get also another property in the same area. The person who was selling me the house, I didn't know it was not his house. It's a deceased estate, but he claimed to be the beneficiary. But as I did my due diligence, I found out that the person who has passed on has a child, the only child, and we don't know. I went to look for information in the area. I went to taverns, I went to many places, and then finally I got the lead. Then we called Rustenburg. Then I managed to speak to the child. He's about 22 years old now. She has grown. And we went there. I hired a transport. As we arrived there, they were shocked. I told the child that, you know, your father left a house. I want to buy that house. You don't know. So I'm telling you now, you have money. I can give you money now. So she was confused. She said, I must come back after a month so that she can talk to the family members. After a month, I took this guy, the initial guy who wanted to sell me that house. He's also a family of this one. Then we went there, we used taxis. We arrived at Zirast about, I think, 4 o'clock. We didn't even have a place to sleep. We didn't know where we were going to sleep. But at least the family members, they met us and then we spoke. They were happy because the lady staying in a shack, even the toilet, there's no even a door on the toilet. You know, it was painful to see the condition of the lady. So the family members said, just sign the papers. I spoke with the lawyer to give me the papers, the original papers, so that when she agrees, we sign immediately. Not that one is not an offer to purchase. It's the real papers that goes to the masters of the High Court. Then the lady, finally, she agreed. She signed the papers. And then I said, do you want something like a deposit? He said, no, give me 1,000 rand. I transferred it immediately. And then I said, the other money you'll get later. Then I went to Pretoria. The lawyer was happy. He sent the papers to court. Then we managed to get the letter of authority with the name of the child now, meaning moving from the deceased to the living, which is the only biological child. And it was a win because when it's like that, it can now go to this office. So me and the lawyer, we decided, okay, let's pay this lady. Then we gave her 40,000 rands. That's our agreement for the house. But I have to pay for the municipality rates on the side and then even the transfer costs. But at least we agreed. And then we gave her the money and the deal is sealed.
So I think I just want to say here, for everyone else who's in the room, you can see for yourself how Andrew is being creative. You can see for yourself how Andrew is jumping into these deals and he's rolling up his sleeves. So I'm just listening to him, and over and above that, I'm saying to myself, what is it that I can learn here? So he's not scared to go through to different places. He's not scared to roll up his sleeves. He's not scared to do the work. As we go on with the videos, I just want us to go back to other awards that are not dedicated to the investors, or should I say to my clients. I want to showcase a video that I was going to call Best Walkthrough of the Year. This is a category, and we normally do a guide to properties, and within that I showcase a property with the aim that I am learning whilst I'm at that property, but I'm also teaching you as well. And basically there's always an investor, and there might be a client of mine, and in this case here, this is a client and a brother of mine and someone who has also taught me, and we are continuously sharpening each other. So in some days I'm his client, in some days it's the other way around, but basically we are now doing business together. We are sharpening each other's swords, and we are both learning as we grow both each other's businesses, his business, my business, the business that we are doing together, and we are growing. You need to find people like that in the tribe. People that you can start sharing ideas, people that you can learn from, people that can learn from you. And that's what the tribe is all about. Now, this video here, we're calling it the best walkthrough video because you voted to it to become the best walkthrough video. 90% of you said this video was sharp. Here is a snippet of it.
If you're saying budget, I mean, when you're going into a project, right, you know exactly how much you're going to spend. And when we're talking from an investor perspective, whenever we're talking about budget, it's about how much you want to put in for the results that you're trying to get, right? And it's always about creating the functionality or a functionable building where it is operational and you can have people staying in it, right?
Yeah.
And you can reap the reward of that. And I think this is what you've done here.
Yeah, no, it's good. Look at it. It was easy, but it's nice now that it's finished.
Okay.
So yeah, praise God.
Awesome. So you drive in, you park here.
Park here.
What is this alley here? I mean, for
so
me, I would have put in a room.
I know you. You would have put in a room. I also wanted a room. Let me tell you, before we start, I had to fun well there. Before we start, when we started this project, I wanted 50 units in.
50?
50, that was the goal.
And the council dropped you to?
The council dropped me to, then I said 40, no, the architect dropped me to 40. And she said, no,
why are you not working with a good architect who's visionary like you?
Yeah, man. And it just couldn't, with these old buildings, and we couldn't get 50, so then we had 40. And then the council came and said a minimum dwelling should be 30 squares in Ekurhuleni.
Okay.
So then they brought it down, so we had to work around with 30 squares, and then it came down to 31.
Okay.
So I actually wanted to make this a unit.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be a unit.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. I had to have a refuse area for it.
Okay. All right. So this works as your refuse area.
Yeah.
Quite big for a smaller building. I mean, in relation to your building, and I mean, I've seen smaller ones. But how are you finding the bins with the council? How are you winning with the bins? Because that has been a consistent problem with many investors that I know. They can't get bins from the councils and things like that. How do you work around that?
Getting bins is not... What the council did was they charged me about a 10,000 rand refuse charge. So we had a fight now for the last few months to bring it down.
Yeah.
So they were charging me 18 business refuse charges shops.
Okay, sure.
So we brought that down now.
But that was because of your building. It was zoned business 1 though.
But it was still wrong.
Okay.
It was still wrong.
Yeah.
So the bins are easy. Bins I can get whenever. Look now, especially with this project, I've met everyone in every department. I've got their cell phone numbers on my phone. I've made good friends now in Boksburg because of this. Especially because it's opposite the municipality as well.
Sure.
Right.
So for a lot of you thinking that, property is one of those difficult things to go into. The reality is that the moment you get your feet wet and you're doing stuff, then all of these things starts coming into play. You start meeting different architects, you start meeting people at the council, and the things that you are sitting back and thinking that these are huge problems, they start going away because you start meeting the right people, the people that can solve the problems for you. Is it hard? Yes. Is it easy? Yes. It can be done. That's the moral of the story. Can we jump into one of the units?
Yeah, let's jump in.
You got another security gate here.
Yeah.
So everyone else got a key.
So they got a key here. This one they actually asked me.
They asked for it. The tenants asked for it.
Yeah, they asked for it. They asked for this gate. Okay. So this one wasn't here.
Right.
So we put this one in.
Okay.
So the main thing is the tenants are concerned because it's inner city, because there's a lot of ladies that stay alone, security, safety. So, and obviously they're your clients. You want them to stay long. So
100%.
If they feel safe, if they're happy, security gate, and I put it in for them.
This has been all the buildings. Whenever I'm buying buildings, all buildings,
this is neglected.
Yeah.
I see, when was the last serviced? It would say 1992.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking, insurance versus this. If this has been last serviced in 1992, but you're still paying insurance, you're not really paying for any insurance there, because from a compliance perspective, if anything then happens, you're out of compliance. They're not going to pay you.
But I think, yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think the older, they weren't that strict.
Yeah.
They didn't have all the regulations that they have now on fire, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Expensive thing.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing, obviously, if something happens, you know. But it was actually a nightmare too because the fire. I didn't know fire is that expensive.
It is.
So I was about 150 grand on this property. I was like, what? It's like, my man, these pipes here.
When you've got a fire, that's when you're going to see 150K working for you. Yeah, let's go up.
So the fire regulations were important here as well.
So we're just going upstairs, and downstairs you've got how many units downstairs?
Downstairs we've got 13.
1-3.
So that's where the video town was, and that's where the Nando's was.
Okay, great. And then up here, we still have a couple of units.
So this is the first floor, so here we've got 13 as well.
So I see you've got 5 units here on the pinky level. What the hell, bro, with the pink?
Don't you like pink? This is, eh?
I do, but...
You know how many colors we played around with? I'm not going to lie to you. We played around with different colors with the architect. They said, Leroy, just paint this building grey. I said, no. Man, let's light it up.
Okay.
Let's light it up. Let's light up Oxford. This was my idea.
We can see that.
Yeah, this was my idea.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just always had a vision of colorful.
This was before your daughter was born, isn't it? Was she born?
She's 2 now, so she was born.
She's the motivator of this pink.
Yeah, I think she could. But this pink looked nice, eh? The colors look nice.
I don't know.
Hey, don't you like it?
We'll see when maintenance kicks in.
Yeah, we'll see when maintenance kicks in and might go grey again. But for now it made the statement. And it looks cool.
No, well done. It looks good. This is the first floor, and it takes you down onto the main road.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So the guys that don't have cars coming from there.
Yeah.
With tags.
Okay, cool.
You see, they're all different sizes. So this is a bit of with working with these old buildings, you have to work around the existing walls as well. So this is a bit of a 1 bed.
Okay, so this is a 1 bed.
With the toilet.
It comes in with a kitchen here, and is that the toilet in?
This is the toilet in here.
What's the average size here?
The average size, it varies. It goes from about 25 to about 40.
About 40.
45-ish.
Okay. And your 45, is that a 2 bed or 1 bed?
That's a 2 bed.
That's a 2 bed.
Yeah, 45, okay. 50. Yeah, 45, 50.
So the lower it is a 1 bed, the higher it is, it's a 2 bed, right? And I see you've got prepaid meters.
Yes, sir.
Right? How does that work for you? Is it working? Is it not working?
It's working.
Right?
It's working.
Tenants tempering, not tempering?
No, I think with these new ones, I haven't had a temper problem. They say these are the newish ones.
Yeah. Which
is difficult to temper. And other properties, I've got old ones which they tried, but they always get caught anyway.
Sure.
They always get caught because there's a problem, and you come in and you see they've used the thing, and obviously then...
How do you manage that? So now you've got a tenant that's been stealing from you. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that?
Give them a notice.
Okay.
You give them a notice. So as I said, I've got multi-lets and a couple where there's a bit of a thing.
Okay.
But if you check it often enough, they know that it gets checked, so they know that they can't mess with it because someone's going to come check it.
Awesome stuff.
Soon. And obviously you've got city properties which sends you
the statements.
If
you can compare between your council bill and this bill here. If you're underpaying, overpaying, then there's a leakage somewhere. Someone is stealing somewhere. Right. And I think that's another thing that people go through to these seminars and things like that, or they go into learn how to do property and things like that.
but the administration behind it.
Yeah, that's
right. Not a lot of people think of it, or should I say, maybe some of the trainings that are out there don't cover it.
Yeah.
Because obviously, all of us will manage things differently, but there's a lot of administration it's quite intense actually to manage properties. And for some people, they want to manage it for themselves, which is okay. I don't advocate for it. But for some people, when you're managing yourself, small things like this, where you've got the council is billing you 1,000 rand, you are collecting 500 rand. Where's the other 500 rand going?
And that's the things that you miss.
And that's money coming out of your pocket. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And those are difficult things to. Maybe it's good you don't teach. They don't teach all these things, because if you knew about all these things, you probably won't get in.
Okay. So this is the whole thing. This is the floor now coming through. I like this design. Why didn't you go pinky here also?
No. This was actually just the contractor.
Right.
It was creative, and he put them in so.
Right.
So.
But this is also like very cheap, and but it creates a different facade. You're not just seeing the.
Because it would have looked very ugly without this. So he was actually quite creative,
100%. Okay, cool. And we're going into another unit again. You got heavy doors, fireproof.
Fireproof, my man. Fire regulations.
Right. And another unit here as well. Quite good, everything you need,
Yeah, it's nice and light. It's a little bit of a nice view. The lake here. Your one bed.
Oh wow, yes.
These ones are the first floor and the top floor is actually quite nice views. All of them don't have balconies though, which would be some have balconies, some don't.
Yeah. So we got a nice view. So do you charge more for these units here that have
the views?
The view, yeah.
I think it varies.
It's not a priority for people to have the view.
So this one, I think this one will go for what? This one will probably go for like the bachelors, depending on the size, between 35 and 38.
Yeah.
So the nicer ones are about 38-ish, and the smaller ones that are not that great are about 35-ish.
Okay.
Welcome back, and we are going to be going into another category, and this category is the best co-host video. But in this co-host video, we are not going to see who is the co-host, because in this video it is actually a faceless co-host, so you could just hear his voice as we went on, and lots of you said that this video here was the best co-host video of the year. And the reason that it's basically someone who turned a house into a mini complex, and they were able to walk us through the exact detail on how they did it, and they were showing us how they're doing it, and they showed us how much money they spent. So they were kind of like all out. They left nothing untended. They shared everything with us besides their face. Yeah. So in this video here, this is the video, the best co-host of the year, and this is none other than John, who gave us his complex, and you voted. 87% of you said this year video is the video of the year for co-hosting. Check out the video. So you're sitting on just below 2,000 squares, you already have these units that you have. Are you making money or are you losing money? Because I always see a lot of people that go in and they invest. I saw someone else today, not today, but the other day, they came through to me and says, hey TJ, I bought a property on the R82, it's a development, and I think they said they paid 600,000 for it, and their bond is around about, I think 8,000, somewhere there, and out of that, their tenant is paying 4,000. And I said, brah, you are losing money. Why? Right. So just run us high level numbers of how you have acquired the property. This is from a numbers perspective, how you acquired the property, how much was it, And now the conversion that you have done, is it fully done with the conversion, or do you still have another phase to go through? I don't know. And what is your current collections as it is? And then we can talk about the future part.
Okay. The property, when it was on the market, it was listed just under 2 million, and the value at the time, in terms of market value, we were talking 2.3 easy.
Right.
Why I'm saying that? Because hardly few months before I came in, a neighbor just purchased at 2.3.
Wow.
So we are in the same area, same earth size, probably roughly the same square meter in terms of the house itself.
High five to you. So you made literally 300K in your balance sheet by just buying the property.
It is actually 500K because we settled at 1.8 purchase price.
All right. I love this. Right. So I think if this is all confusing you, that's okay. John, I mean, you didn't start by getting this the way you're doing it now, right? It sounds so easy. I also didn't start off like that. But with learning, got to it. And here we are. 500K on your balance sheet. Your money, your property, your business. I'm excited. So now you've bought it. Did you have to do any renovations?
Yes, I mean, it was just a pure standard house, standard family house with just having 5 bedrooms. So we had to reconfigure the house, and get to where we are, which is the main house. It's giving us now 8 units,
right?
Different sizes. So that's where we are.
You speak of this conversion, and we changed this, we changed that. Is that allowed? You know, we see people just chopping their house. Is that allowed? What is the process? Walk us through the process that you have had to do to make it compliant.
Well, it is allowed. However, you need to do it the right way.
Right.
You can't just come in and start breaking walls, because I mean, neighbors can easily report you to the council, and if nothing has been submitted at the council, you'll be in deep trouble. So I brought in a town planner here before I even signed a OTP. To have a look at the property, the area, and advice in terms of the zoning, in which zoning is it in, and what is it that we can do given our multi-let strategy investing.
Good. So you brought in someone else who understands, who's a professional better than you are, because you're an investor. So you're looking at investments, right?
Yes.
But there's other people that you're also working with, and I call those people power team. You call them whatever you want to do. I always say that property is like a sport, right? But it's not like tennis, like golf. It's almost like rugby, you know, or soccer. I always think of it that way. You as the investor, you've got this ball, and at some point, the ball needs to be passed on to someone else. So in this case, you passed on the ball. I mean, the real estate came through with the ball and said, hey, there's the ball here, it's gold. And you're like, yes, I like it. But you took it and you passed it on to your town planner, who says, yes, we can do something here. And he then gave you a strategy that you were happy with, and you deployed that. And he has taken that now, he posted it to the council. The council says, yes, we can. They give you the authorization. And the ball came back to you again. You went to the bank, you threw the ball to the bank. You came back again. They said they want some deposits. Is that correct?
Deposit from the bank perspective?
Correct.
Nothing.
You paid no deposit on the property?
Paid no deposit on the property.
Okay. So you were buying a property at a low, and the value is high. So you almost got like 100%. 100% of what you asked for, so there's actually no deposit.
Yes.
And you have made money on your balance sheet.
Correct.
I like that. As I go back to our awards from my clients, to people that I'm teaching, people that are doing business, people that are involved in the tribe, growing themselves and growing their businesses, and making sure that within their families there is investments from property, from business, I'm going to call upon the next award. And this award is another award. It is another investor who prefers not to be not on social media. He's a faceless investor. From the tribe, we know who he is, because he has shared his journey with us. And I met up with this guy not so long ago, around about maybe 4 years ago. And within that, we rubbed shoulders together, and we started learning together. I started teaching him. We bought 1 or 2 deals together, and over and above that, we became good friends, my family and his family, and that's what it's all about, right? And then thereafter, he said to me, TJ, I don't want to be in residential anymore, brother. I want to buy warehouses. I'm like, bruh, you wanting to buy what? He says, I'm going to buy warehouses. I'm like, but this is great. We have blocks of flats already and we've got tenants. Now you want to go into buying warehouses. Why? And he says, that's where I think that's where the value is. And without giving you the exact numbers, I mean, he went on to get into a deal. I'm just going to throw in some numbers, but it's not the exact number. He bought in a 70 million rand warehouse, and he was banking equity off the cuff of around about 20 million. When he showed me the numbers, I was like, what? Yeah, bruh. No more residential for me. But here's the thing. He started learning about warehousing. And so what did I start doing? I also started learning how to do warehousing. Again, the short is we're just like swords, man. I am sharpening his sword, he's sharpening mine. He brought in something that it wasn't in my sphere of thinking, in my sphere of investing. He showed me how it's doing, and even though he didn't show me everything, but he gave me an idea. And I said, who can teach me? And bingo, I actually didn't know that my business coach, who's already coaching me, that's what he does as a side hustle in his real estate. So I knew he was doing real estate, but I didn't know that he does this types of real estate. He says, yeah, TJ, we can add this in our coaching, and bingo. I now have another strategy that I can also now be able to do. Will I do it this year, 2024, 2025? I don't know, but it's something that I'm still learning, obviously, as I go along. So here is a snippet of his building that he bought. Why am I sharing this with you? My friends, I can be your business coach and might not be able to do what you are wanting to do. But together we can figure it out, and together I can be able to help you to walk those steps. That's what's called coaching. I'm taking you somewhere else. But when I'm doing mentoring to you, what I'm basically doing, I'm showing you the steps of how to do it because I've done it before. And in this case, I was able to help out this client of mine from a coaching perspective to go to that place. Check out the video of where he last bought. Welcome back, and I'm trusting that you enjoyed that humongous building, isn't it? It's so awesome to see from a distance. And I want us to jump on to another category. This is also another client of mine, and this client of mine, his name is Ramo, and we gave Ramo the award which is called Staying on the Course. She's been with me for 3 years. I met out Ramo and she'd already been investing. So she'd been investing in different places. But when she was investing, she did everything wrong. What do I mean by everything wrong? When you start investing and you don't know what you don't know, you're just going to do what you think is right. So I'll give you an example. Someone said to me, TJ, I've got a house and I think it's next to TUT, right? And I've got about 50 students there that I said, they can move in. And I said to him, bruh, did you configure the house yourself? He says, yeah, I own the property cash. I'm like, but you should have gone to the council to get your plans done. He says, no, we already had the plans done. I said, no, I'm talking about the plans that you changed the property to be. He said, nah, I didn't do that. I thought you do plans once. I said, okay, but now you've got these 50 students. What about fire? Do you have a fire plan on your place? He says, no. Why do I need a fire plan? I said, what if the place burns down? You need to have the place being fire compliant. And he says, oh, I don't know. I said, do you have insurance on this place? He says, no, I don't have insurance. I own the property cash. I'm like, bro, you need insurance on this place. So guess what? I am sharing all of these things with this guy and he doesn't know, but he thought he was doing the right thing. And imagine having 50 kids on your property and something like this could happen. But my friends, this is not what happened to Ramo. What basically happened to Ramo is that she was doing things from her knowledge, and these things, some of them were not right. And in the last 2 years, where I hung out with Ramo, she literally spent more time with the different property practicing professionals, town planners, architects, things like people like those, to correct a lot of things that she had done in the past. So she might have not bought anything. To me, her business is compliant. If anything happens, she is good. And that's what we call streamlining of your business. Sometimes it's not just about the money. Sometimes it's about the compliance. And sometimes it's to make sure that your business can make money and can go beyond any accident that may happen. And my friends, this is Ramo, who went out and for 2 years didn't buy nothing, but she improved her business whilst she was getting improved, because she didn't know this information before. So with Ramo, I can safely say that we did a lot of mentoring, and she's still with us. Is 3 years on, and amazing stuff. Congratulations, Ramo, on your journey so far.
Good day, property investors. My name is Ramukone Josephine Klo. I am a chemist by profession. 8 to 4, I'm a chemist, and afterwards, then I am a property investor. I am a mother of 3 beautiful children, 2 girls and 1 boy. And then I do property. My strategies are multi-lets, and then recently ventured into Airbnb. And then the reason why I chose property as an investment strategy for me is that I want to have a comfortable retirement, and then not downsizing on the lifestyle that I'm living now, and also that my children has a better start as compared to where I started from. And then the wins that I have since I started, then the learning in terms of the property business is that then to correct all the challenges that I have, or the errors that are made, is that then I opened the company where then, and also the two trust that then I'll be using as the vehicle, where then when I buy properties, I don't buy them in my name. That is the win that I have. And then also the other property that I have, then because like the zoning rights were not correct, and then now I'm correcting that as well. That to me is a win. And then the other win is that the property that I was paying people to stay in, then I sold that property, so that then, because as you hear from other people, they'll say then no, then you'll get to a point where then now you can break even, you can carry the loss until to a certain point, but then that doesn't make a good business sense. And I sold that property. And also then the other win that I have is that I didn't know that you can stand in surety to a business when it's buying those properties. You can even buy with a business that is freshly opened, and then you can stand in a surety. And then also that when my father calls me back home, then I know that I'll be leaving my kids with the wealth that they won't share with the government, with the structures that I've put in place, so that then they don't get to a point where then now my estate needs to be winded up, because then by that time I'll be with my father, and then my kids then will suffer the loss. But then in this instance, then my kids will be able to inherit everything that I worked hard for. The other one is that my win is that I can be able to source deals now and then sell to other investors and then make money to be able to buy more properties for me. And then the other thing now, I can be able to negotiate the deals and then get them with my terms, and then the price that will make sense, a business sense, or on my side. And then also can be able to do numbers before I can buy the properties, because in property business we say you make money when you buy property. And then the other thing is that on one of my properties I had the electricity challenges, because I bought a property next to an open field, where then now they were later on then there were squatters that then squatted all next to my property, and then we had a problem with then the electricity, because then those people then started tapping into our electricity connection, and then that affected then the property that I had. Those are then some of the challenges that I had. If I was to be given a chance to start over, knowing what I know now, I will buy properties in the company name, because then that still frees up all the credit score that I have, because then the credit won't be in my name, will be in the company's name. Then I can buy many properties with the same surety that I'll be standing in, meaning if then in my name I can buy only 2, that means I can buy more than 2 with the company, because then I'll be just standing surety, and then that debt doesn't come to my name. And the other one is that I will be careful on how to use credit and manage or do payments on all the credits that I have. And then also I'll have started very early in my life, because then by now then I'll be knowing that I don't have this rush situation that I'm in. That is all from me, and then this is I am very happy for everyone who is here today. Happy investing, and then see you in a better future that we are developing today. All the best. Bye bye. God bless you.
Welcome back, and we are now going to be talking about the best tip video of the year. So I give out tips week in, week out, but we took in a couple of videos and we say to you guys, vote on which one is the best video. And 82% of you voted on this video, and you said the video on Friends, so the video's name was basically Friends, hard work won't get you rich. And within that video, I was basically explaining that it's good to go to work, but work alone won't get you rich. You need to be buying assets. And here is the short snippet of the video, but you can check out the same video in the description and you can check the full length of it. Go to school, get some good grades, and get a job. And from getting a job, you can then be able to rise up the ladder. From being a normal employee, you become what? A supervisor. From being a supervisor, you become a manager, junior manager. Junior manager, you become a senior manager. Senior manager, you become an executive. And then what? I leave you to think about that, because probably I know you're at a job at the moment. And you're probably one of those people that are in the game of, you know, for me to get into my job or to get to my job, I need to wake up early. Well, does waking up really get you rich? I don't know. And have you been rich with actually being in your employment? I don't know. Have you been asking yourself these questions actually? Because I did. For a long time, I was asking myself, will I get rich really by waking up very early in the morning, by being at my job like a clock? And I realized not. That's why I left my job. I'm not advocating for you to leave the job. Hold on until to the end of the video. I'm going to give you some snippets there where we can all be able to learn something different. Boom! We are 2 more categories to go, and the next 2 categories are best deal of the year, and the next one is best video of the year. I wonder which one I should go with first. Should I go with the best deal or should I go with the best video of the year? I don't know. But let's just go in. Drum roll. Bingo. I think I'm just going to start with the best video of the year. The best video of the year is, this is a shout out to the research team. And the research team, they go into research on what is it that you are hungry to want to listen. And I think this video here gives us that. We did a video on how to calculate rental income. And there's many videos that are out there that my team went out to research on, and they gave us these videos, watched it. But we realized that all of these videos didn't really show you the tools of how to do it. So in this video, it's a little bit of a lengthy video, and you can almost consider it as a training video. I went all in, I held nothing back, and I give you how, I give you the tools, and anyone who is serious about the rental business can also utilize these tools. Some of them you have to pay for it, and some of them you don't, and bingo. This is the video. You can check out the full length in the description. You will be able to see it in the notes, in the description notes. Let's make an assumption that you have gone in this neighborhood. You have reached out to an estate agent. Over and above that, you have walked the streets and you are comfortable in investing in that area. Now, what do you do? So the first tool that I want to introduce to you guys is, I'm going to introduce you to a tool that is called Property 24. And here is Property 24. And some of you are like saying, really? Is this a tool? Yes, it is a tool. And I'll show you how you can navigate this tool. There is many other tools that you can use. There's private property, there is Gumtree and things like that. And basically what I did here is I went into Property 24 and I said, how best can I get people to understand how to use a tool like this one? They all built the same. And in this side here, I've already kind of like looked for a deal. I don't know this deal. It's a deal that I'm just going to go through with you guys for the first time. So normally you'd come here and then you look for, on here, it says here, for sale, to rent, sold prices, developments. I'm going to click on for sale. So we're looking for a property in Florida, right? And then I'm going to put my area, Florida, and Florida will pop up, bingo. And I'm going to say, I am looking for an apartment in this area because we are looking for a 2-bed, 1-bath. And we're going to look for a 2-bed. And I'm going to click on search. Once this thing is searching, search results for Florida. Okay, there you go. It has now come up. I normally like to actually just double check here on my order by. I'll say low to high. And I'll tell you my secret on why I choose low to high is because I might just be able to miss some other properties that may be a good deal. Like for instance, ooh, what is this? This is a 10-bedroom apartment. The building comprises of 4 sectional title of 81 units. They didn't say how much they're selling it for. However, but it looks a little bit from the, oof. This might be a good deal for someone. I don't know. Will I buy this? Well, I don't know. But anyway, today we are only looking at a 2-bed, 1-bath. But you get the drift on why I went through to look at that. I didn't even have an idea that that deal existed. So we are looking for a 2-bed. All of these are still 1-beds. Let me go up there and see whether it is. It's not carrying my bedrooms. So I'm going to say 2 bedrooms. Property type, it's saying any. I don't want any. I really want to have it for 2 beds. Right. On my 2 beds, low to high. Yebo. So now we're going to look for a property that we want to buy. And this one here comes up. It says reduced, which means that the owner has maybe had it at a different price. And now this year is now selling for 320. It's a 2-bed. It's on 3rd Avenue, Florida. I actually know this street. Looks like corner 10th and 3rd. Potential, it says. Maybe before we just jump onto this one, let's go and look whether there is other deals, right? Other deals. We saw this one. 320, a 2-bed, 1-bath, 67 squares. You see this one on top here. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so that you guys can be able to see nicely. Right. Let's look at the top. This one here, it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, 1 carport or 1 garage. It's 76 squares. I'm going to hit like. I'm going to come back to it. It's been reduced to 320. So maybe I could actually buy it for maybe 300. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. If it's reduced, which means they want it gone. Right. I see other no transfer. Ooh, okay. This is nicely done. It looks beautiful. 2-bed, but this is a little bit smaller. And it's going for 320. I'm just looking, right? I've gone to my area, and now I'm just looking for a deal. 370, a 2-bed, 1-bath, but this one is 2 carports. So that's how you look into these deals. You see now, this is an added advantage. Now you're getting 2 garages or 2 parking versus here, the other one there that we saw first. It is basically on a 72 squares, but it's got 1 garage. Right. Okay. All right. Which one should I pick? Mini, money, more. I'm going to pick the right one that comes up first. Let's dive into this deal here. I don't know this complex. I've never been there before. I know the area. I know the street, actually. And it says Jean Claire, right? It's got a bit of a French accent to go with it, Jean Claire. The estate agent says this is a large 2-bedroom apartment. Potential. I don't know where's the potential, but let's dive in. Here is an opportunity to make this unit your ideal home. So they are selling to home seekers or invest in an additional income with minor TLC. This unit will be value for money. This is an estate agent who's writing this, right? But do we know whether this is a good deal or not? We're going to dive into it. So this is my tool number 1 that I am already looking into. So this is basically my tool number 1. We've just gone to see the property, and we do a virtual look. I call this one desktop exercise. there's lots of data that the agent has already given us without us calling them, right? Which I want us now to jump into. So this is the process of how you are going to make sure that what you are buying, you're going to make money before you actually buy. Say it again. What you're buying, you're going to make money before you actually buy. So I'm going to bring in my tool number 2. Tool number 2. So I'm going to go into this tool now, and this is, I call it my template. I got this template from when I was starting off learning, and I have just kept this and I've made the tool mine. And I've also updated it as I've gone by over the years with things to make my deals flows. Okay, the deal is already selling for 320. That's what it's saying here. So I'm going to go through to my spreadsheet and I'm going to say the market price here, they are saying is 320. And maybe let me buy, I'm going to say maybe 300,000. Okay. As you can see, my numbers there, they have calculated for me. Basically, I've just said my market price is X, 320, and I'm purchasing at 300. So I'm making equity of 20,000. If my purchase price is 300, I'm going to change here to 300. Am I buying this with a bond? Many people would be buying this with a bond. So my departure point today is working on this tool as if, first point, we are working with a bond. So let's assume that you're already working through here, and 300,000, you're going to get a bond, 100%. So you're not going to pay any deposit, and there's going to be some transfer. So how much is the transfer? Do they tell us that here? Normally, because they can also tell us here sometimes what is the transfer. Okay, on here, they don't tell us that on Property 24. Let me see. Okay, no transfers on here. But if I wanted to check in transfers, what would I do? I'd go to another website that is called Uber.co. You can see I go there a lot. It's already telling me there. .za. And once the page is coming up, you don't have to pay anything for all of this, right? It's all free. And I can go to calculators. I'll click on calculators, and I'm going to say calculate transfer cost. So obviously transfer cost calculator, that's what it is. I'm going to hit it there, and I am purchasing a property for 300,000, and my loan is 300,000, and the property type is a. What's the difference between a sectional title and a freehold? Freehold is a property that is not in a complex. Sectional title, it's a unit in a complex. And is there VAT involved? No. And who is buying? Is it a natural person? I always say don't buy properties in your name, guys. Buy it in a company, and there's the company, and I'm going to hit calculate. Now it's saying to me, my transfer costs is an estimate that it has given us. It's better to work with something rather than nothing. So my transfer cost is 35,315, but the bond transfer is 20,000. So this number here that we're talking about, the 35,000, 20,000 is included in there. The transfer is 14,000. I am going to take this 35,000 and I am going into here. My bond transfer and transfer duty is going to be 40,000. TJ, where did you get 40,000 from? I am budgeting. So I always take a higher number. Okay. I'm budgeting. So let's go into renovations. So the renovations, let's go back to our property again. Things that are very obvious that we saw in this unit that needs to be fixed. Let's write them down. The first one is that we do not have a stove. So maybe even that gas hob also is not working. So let's just include a stove. And with stove, we're going to say, let's say it is 5,000 for a stove. But you can Google a stove, go to Builders Warehouse and see how much a stove is, right? The second thing is that we're going to say there's no cupboards in here. How much cupboards would we want? Maybe let's budget around about 20,000. So 20,000 plus 5,000, now we're on 25,000, right? We're just estimating for the purposes of the exercise. I'm not saying that these are the actual costs, right? So now we are on 25,000. This looks like it was painted, but maybe not. So it could be, we need some paint here. For a small unit like this one, 76 squares, maybe another 5,000. And now we're at 30,000. But there's other small things here that I'm seeing, like the door handles that are missing, and one or two tiles that I'm seeing. Door handles you can see there. Don't know whether all the windows are there. I don't know what this black thingy is here. What is that for? Maybe it's a door or whatnot. I don't know, but maybe it needs to be fixed, right? So I am going to go to my spreadsheet, and we are on 30,000. I'm going to budget 50,000. My renovation, I'm going to budget it 50,000. So now we are saying 40,000, which is my bond transfer, plus my renovation of 50,000, 90,000. I'm in the deal now for 90,000. This is cash I need to have. 300, I got it from the attorney, but now 90,000, I got it from, it's my money, right? So 300, I got it from the bank. I applied, I utilized a bond originator, and they gave me that, right? Maybe we also want to cover something here on this 300. And the question that we want to ask here is, for you to get 300, how much would you be paying? Let's say here, let's say interest rate is on 11.75 that it's saying. How do I qualify for based on my income, right? Let's go and have a look there, right? So for you to qualify on this property at 320, you are going to be paying 3,400. You need to have a gross monthly income of 11,000. And the net monthly income of, let's say, 11,000, let's say. So what it's saying, yeah, calculate how much you can afford to borrow. There you go. 11,000, that's your bottom end, right? In general, this is the foundation of how you can calculate whether you can be whether you can, the banker will give you some money or not. When it comes to applying for a home loan, South African banks will typically allow you to qualify for a home loan repayment of up to 30% of your joint gross monthly income, right? That is your total joint income before tax. Expenses have been calculated. This is a general statement, and then obviously they will dive in to see the entire deal, right? So I'm hoping all of this is making sense, and we are still looking at the deal. Let's go back to the calculator now, and the deal calculator. I call this the deal calculator template, right? So you need to have 90,000 of your own money, 300,000, which is the bank's money. This is what we rave on and say, OPM, other people's money. Yes, all right. So in this case here, the deal cash in your, that's coming, the cash that's coming from you, the cash that is coming from you, it is going to be 90,000 because we are saying these two amounts here, the bond transfer and the renovation. So that's your 90,000 there. What about rates and taxes? So now we were wanting to see if we buy this, are we going to be making profit at the end of the month? The rates and taxes, let's go back. How much is our rates and taxes? They gave us the amount here, 300. Okay. Rates and taxes is 300. The add 300. Utilities is going to be 0 because you're going to put prepaid meters. But if you don't have prepaid meters, I would suggest that you add in. You're going to pay what? Maybe 1,000 or so, 6,000, depending on how much the prepaids that you're wanting to have, how intelligent they are. I've seen some that are quite pricey. Levies, 1,000. So there you are. I say that this is a holding cost. So whilst I'm buying this, how long is it going to take me to have a tenant in this place? So maybe let me say 3 months. So I now need to have 1,900 times 3. Okay. Yep, 1,900 times 3. And then I'm going to add that on here. So now all of a sudden, all right. So we can say 1,900, which was our amount there, times 3. So now we need 5,700. This is a budget. It is a budget. We're not saying that you're going to spend this money. It's a budget. We are saying that if we do not have a tenant, we will still need to pay rates and taxes. We will still need to pay levies because you can't run away from those two costs, right? But once I have a tenant, then I can subtract all of these things from my rent. I then went on to, so this is tool number 1. Now this is now tool number 2 that I've given you the template. I want to go back to my another tool that I want to show you guys. And this tool here is my Property 24 again. But this time around, I'm going to look from a rent perspective. And I'm going to look into the rent to say, in this area here, 2 beds, how much are they going for? Right? This is what the landlord wants. And maybe the tenant might even ask for a discount on here. You never know. So the area in Florida, you can get a 2-bed, 1-bath. Remember, our 2-bed, 1-bath is what, 72 squares, right? So we need to see and be able to compare each deal with its own merits. This here, it's a 2-bed apartment, but it's got a 1.5, and it's going for 3.9. This one is going for 2-bed 1. It's going for 3.9. Another 2-bed. This one here is going for, it's a biggish, because it's got 85 squares. That one is 72. This one is going for 4.2. As I go along, this has been reduced. The landlord is desperate. He has reduced the rent. 4.5. Now it sounds like it's going up here, right? But these guys, they don't tell us how big the unit is, right? But what are we looking for? We are looking to see how much can we rent our place for here. And from what I can see here, there's lots of stock on the 4,000 to around about 5,000. So let's take a 4,500. So I'm going to say here in this area, rent is actually going for 4,500. But before I do that, I want to introduce you to another tool. Property 24 right now has just given us an indication of what rent could be. And like I said, I'm Property 24, they're not paying me to do this. It's just a tool. I said, remember, there's tools that I use. So number 1 was a Property 24 from a selling perspective. I'm looking at how to buy. And then number 2, I went on into my Excel spreadsheet. Now I'm starting to populate. And then then tool number 3 is I'm going back again on to Property 24, but now looking at the rental incomes, the rental prices, not incomes, rental prices. How much is rent for each unit? And this is the prices that are being advertised. But there's another tool, which is called TPN, right? TPN, I'm gonna jump into TPN now. Welcome to TPN. But before I go on to TPN, I just want to show you guys where can you get this website. So they've got a website that's called tpn.co.za, right? So you can see I'm going there. There you are. And where do I get this tool? There's many things that are happening in here. So I'm going to go to property. Actually, no, I'm lying. Let me go to shop, right? And when I click on shop, it's going to take me to another page and it's going to show me all the products. But I am more interested in what they call property reports for investors, right? So there is a property report kit. And you can read there for you what it is. But I'm more interested in this one here that's called Investor Report. All right. And the time that we have all been waiting for. Can I hear some drum roll? I don't hear you. Say what? Say what? Okay, good. The best deal of the year. Look, all the way from March 2023. Every Wednesday, we showcased a video. So there was plenty of videos or plenty of deals to check out. At some point, I got neck to neck, right? And eventually, I had to make a call. I'm like, which video then do we make the best deal of the year? And the best deal of the year for me was the deal that came through as an installment sale. And I'll tell you why I decided that this is the best deal of the year. I think I could have chosen any other deal. There were some deals that could give you equity of R1 million. There were some deals that was giving you an equity of 200,000, cash flowing 5 grand, cash flowing 60,000. There were so many deals, and you can check out all these deals for yourself. And by the way, these deals are always available for you to get. But why did I choose this particular deal as the investor, as the deal of the year? I'm of the view that when you're doing an installment sale, you are at the mercy of the next person who is the seller, because this is seller finance. This lady here who was selling the deal, she literally said to us, she would be open for any terms and conditions. Whoa. Any terms and conditions? What? I've never seen a deal like that. It's like going to the bank and the bank is saying, any terms and conditions. What? My friends, why did you miss on this deal? Or didn't you understand it? Okay, so for those of us who understand what an installment sale is, then you now need to figure. She had one condition. Their condition was that I just want a deposit plus minus 300,000. And then thereafter, the deal on 2.1 million, and it was giving already 70 grand a month. So hold on. The deal is cash flowing, 7.70,000. You're buying it for 2.1, and as a going concern, everything is in there. You don't need to buy furniture. Okay, great. There was a little bit of renovations to be done if you checked out the video. But this is an amazing deal. The barrier of entry is almost non-existent. And then someone had the nerve of asking me, so TJ, why are you not taking it? I'm like, bruh, seriously? Guys, if I was taking all the deals from March, every week there's a deal. From March in 2023 to December the second week, how many weeks is that? It's almost like 40, right? So these are 40 deals. Guys, can I be buying all 40 deals? I can't. Number one, I don't have the money to pay all the deposits. Number two, I don't have all the money to be paying transfer fees. And number three, maybe some of these areas is not a good area for me, right? And there's many other reasons why I wouldn't take this deal. Many, right? I always say investing is like being in a relationship. If you are a man, not all women are good for you. And if you are a woman, not all men are good for you, but they might be good for the next person. So my friends, when you are investing, do not assess the deal on the merits of the next guy, because you don't know the merits of the next guy. Look at the deal based on your own merits, and if it's a good deal, snatch it. I want to say to you guys that this deal here for me was the best deal. Enter to barrier is very little. It's already there. So this deal here to me, my friends, in a joking manner, I might be pulling out some jokes. Don't forgive me, this is the end of 2023, but this has been a great deal for me. I want to show you guys what it looked like. I did a walkthrough on it, and I wonder why people didn't like it. It was part of the walkthrough deals, and it got around about 60% votes. Sorry, 40%, 60%. It got 40% votes, and the other votes went on to the others. So you might be asking yourself the question that, are installment sale actually allowed in South Africa? And the question is yes, because I have done installment sales myself for a very long time. I think I've done maybe around about, I think in my experience within the last 10 years, right? I have done maybe around about 6 or 7 of installment sales, and all of them have been so amazing. Why have they been amazing? The nature of the installment sale of itself is something that everybody, I think, should be able to utilize. Number one, which is an installment sale, is basically when the seller of the property together with the buyer, they are coming to an agreement, which means that because you are talking with direct seller here, you have the flexibility of negotiating whatever the terms and conditions are. In today's video, I am going to be showing you guys a property that's available, and this property is available for anybody. Okay, good. The deal itself, it's a 2.1 million. You are getting a fully kitted property, and right now there is an income of 69,000. This is 2023 income. I suspect there's going to be around about a 5% increment, maybe 6%, but let's just take a 5%. There will be a 5% increment from this 69, but let's just talk about 59,000. That's your gross income on this property, which is a good income on a 2.1 property. By the way, you are getting everything that is already on the property right now. What is an installment sale? There is a framework. I'm hoping that you are going to be acquainted within this framework, and some of you already are, which is amazing. And the seller is open to the offers on the installment sale. They have some non-negotiables that we are going to be sharing to some of the people that are coming through who are serious, and they are welcoming any other offers that will come in. The offer is on the structure, how you're structuring your 2.1. So maybe you might have $1 million to run today. Bring it. And then you say the other 1.1, we're going to pay it like this. I don't know. So I don't know how much money you've got. But here's the thing, my friends. It's been amazing hanging out with you in 2023. As a Plain Lens, this is our first awards. I want to say that this is our second awards, actually. Last year we did this, but we never came out to you guys and showcased this. But we're just going to say this is our first official awards in the tribe. And we are going to be doing this again in 2024. And it will be great to have you. Yes, I'm speaking to you. It will be great to have you as part of the story of 2024. It's been great hanging out with you. God bless. We will see you in 2024.